This is Yip Beatbox.
Welcome to Warcraft Reloaded, a podcast brought to you by Mash Those Buttons, covering World of Warcraft Classic and its community. I am Bobby, also known as Blazin' Bob, and I'm gonna do Mel first this week because we saved the best for last. The guests go last, so. We're also joined by Mel, aka Melorina.
Really
How you doing?
Ruin that one. Yeah, you're not fooling anybody. Don't try to make our guest feel any better. He obviously knows I'm better.
And joining us is triumphant return, co-founder of the podcast, TheYipShow, aka Ryan. How you doing?
Doing well. That's my little tagline on my LinkedIn, co-founder of Warcraft Reloaded. When people look me up, but I don't know how to do the intros now that you got everything live now. You're playing the music. It's like, whoa.
I know. It feels like that awkward 10-second silence with our guests during the sound check, right? Where you're just like,
yeah. All right. Everybody be quiet now while we take the background. But yeah, glad to be back. I'm sure we'll have a lot to talk about. But episode 100. What the heck? Episode 100.
Did you see chat? Chat's a little concerned for your safety at the moment. They're saying to blink twice if you're being held against your will.
Yeah, when you look at the VOD, you'll see that I did. I gave them the sign, but no.
Nobody's saving you, Yip. You're stuck.
All right. Well, this episode's going to be a little different than many. We did have a couple emails. No, I always forget this. I would like to remind everybody, if you want to catch the show live, you can catch it at twitch.tv/BlazinBob. Okay. Show's going to contain, we have a couple emails that were sent in. We're going to go through those. Then we're going to go through what we've been up to in WoW. And then we're also going to do raid progress. And Yip's going to take us through the journey that has been Sunwell. I know you guys have missed out on it. And Mel and I have tried, but, no one does it like the Yip Show does. Then we're going to move on to...
Well...
Did you want to say something?
Yeah.
I said, well, I don't know. I don't want to know if we want to.
I just hold personal grudges in my brain so long I can recount raid a lot better. I'm like, here's what happened last week.
Moment, this person may have done this.
Yeah, it's actually digging through logs can do that to you. I've been trying to figure things out, and sometimes I kind of wish I was still just ignorance is bliss. I just, only looked at my little thing and it was just following that. But yeah.
You have to look at more than your number next to your name now? Is that what you're telling me?
Dude, now I've got healing, threat, and DPS. So I'm evolving now. So and then we're gonna talk. There's really almost no news. There's one real quick thing. We'll hit it real quick in the news, but then bulk of the show is going to be just talking about the podcast, how it got started, trials and tribulations, things along the way, things we remember. Anybody in chat during that time is welcome to chime in and let us know of anything you remember that you really enjoyed. At the start of that, we'll play a video. I asked all the former guests to if they had time to send in a shout out video for episode 100, and we had almost all the guests that have ever been on the show sent one in. So we'll play that at the start of our episode 100 discussion, but that's gonna be the show. So that being said, shoot, Yip, you want to do the honors of the emails since you've been gone?
I'll do it. I can tell that you saved an email that you've been waiting to drag me back on.
Nope. This is from this week.
Okay, you're right.
We have read a couple of these similar emails, but yeah, it is definitely current.
All right. Well, there is an email from somebody who, I can't prove that Bob didn't just email this in for himself, but first and foremost, I should clarify I'm leaving. I was just gonna leave that open for you, but for the Horde, and I know Bob's got a button. Bob's got a better button.
Oh yeah, you haven't seen this yet. For the Horde.
Just sending this email as a form of review to your podcast. Your podcast helps keep me sane through my blue collar work days, and I really enjoy hearing from all the guests you have on the show. I also need to mention that when you and Yip, I hope I spelled his name correctly, which come on,
That's not a hard name.
He did spell it correctly, but
Do you think your name was Chip or something? Like,
yeah, I don't know.
Like Chippendale?
If ID was on here, so Yip, and then maybe it's a little more confusing, but we're discussing the looking for dungeon, and he got vigorous. I agree with him completely. Thanks for the good content, and wish you guys success and the best in real life. Thank you. That's really kind. I'm glad I had, at first I took all the disagreements to heart, but I pieced out all the people who agreed with me. I was a true champion. A true champion for the people that day. But thank you very much. Should I say his name? Thank you very much, Tom, I think.
Yeah, just the first name. But yeah, it's funny since you've left. Like, I'm like at the point now, I'm like, okay, I don't care if you give me the changes I want. Just please give us looking for dungeon. Like, please. Like, I was like, hoping like they were just like, gonna change their mind and maybe change it up a little bit. But now they're like hard stancing. No, we're not doing it. And I'm like, God dang it! I want it more than I want the changes.
Yeah, now they're sitting there like, well, we didn't do any work on this, so there's no way. So we're just gonna keep going with we're not gonna do it.
Yeah, and now that we're on a mega server, we shouldn't really care that much anymore. We're on a mega server. Haha, sorry, small servers. we're gonna be able to do dungeons.
True.
And then we have another email from a good old friend, Ozzy, who's been writing in a lot, I believe. I remember this guy multiple times. I've seen him in person.
We actually
in-game.
Yeah, we actually ran into him a bunch while we were doing the hardcore challenge.
Yeah. Yep, very cool. So what's up, gang? After my level 58 lock died in classic hardcore.
No.
Oh, that hurts. I quit WoW for a while, but kept listening to your pod, and now that they have announced Wrath of the Lich King, I am back. I'm in a tight spot where I am too under geared to get into raids as a pug, but too poor to do GDKP, so just doing dailies. I want to shout out Winky and vote he be added as the permanent third host. He's the absolute best. Winky truly is the best. I don't know if this is something Winky's interested in, but I'm with Ozzy on this one. After he brought up RXP, I am now subscribed and have a new hobby to do in preparation for Wrath. I love that Winky name drops and is shameless in gold buying. He is the perfect amount of spiciness while also being knowledgeable. Keep up the good work. Grats on dinging to 100 episodes. Ozzy the Warlock, now in Faralina. And another for the Horde. I see the Horde have taken over. I've been gone, but actually that's
not
totally
taken over Benediction, though.
No, they have not. I have not. I'm trying to think. Have I seen a Horde since transferring?
I have not.
I saw one doing dailies the other day. It was a druid. I was like, hey, friend, how you doing?
I don't want to rat him out, but Terry Badner guild on his mage. He posted he got ganked doing dailies.
I got
ganked.
I
thought was so funny.
Dude, you did too. I got ganked on my rogue. I got ganked. It was like the first or second day.
On your rogue. Aren't rogues supposed to gank?
Well, I just didn't even I just saw him. I was like, oh, cute Horde. And I was doing the Nagran daily where you you use the goggles and suck up the little fireballs on the ground. And this pally was just rolling. And I was like, oh, look at that. And I landed, I'm grabbing my thing. And he just attacks me, and it's a prot pally. So I'm sitting here having a bitch of a time with him, and then his little warlock friend comes over, and I just get destroyed. And then of course I go back multiple times, die multiple times, and then finally I just leave with my tail between my legs and my shame, fully intact, and my ego broken.
Oh, God.
But
I admire them. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Then I have been ganked by like 5 of them, like early on when we moved to the server on the Hellfire Towers, but then
Are there 5 people?
Yeah.
Are there 5 horde on Benediction?
Well, there was at that time, but then I think Buttercakes came on his lock and tried to help me, but there were like 5 of them, and the 2 of us just couldn't do it. But
it reminds me of those rogues that Melderon would tell us about on Scarum. They're just like the few resistance on that server, trying to take it
little
back.
splinter cells
like
is what he called them.
Cells is what he called them. Yeah.
And then another piece of that. Also, Ozzy died. He was in our guild. He died a lot. I remember his first death was at like 14, and he was auto walking in Westfall, and he walked right into to Knowles.
Oh,
but
yeah,
then
the Knowles are one. Yeah, 58 hurts.
Oh, that hurts.
The other thing is something I've been meaning to bring up to you, but whenever we talk after raid, but have you seen, the guys that make Rested XP guys, have you seen their new gold guide thing that you subscribe to for like $5 a month?
No, I have not.
It's absolutely nuts. So basically you put in your server, put in your class, and you put in your professions. Then it real time, I don't know how often it checks. I think every 15 or 10 minutes, it's checking all the auction houses. And it tells you right there what your character can do, and like for the best farms, how much gold you can make per hour. It'll be like, okay, well, if you just go and get what's it called, engineering clouds in Shadow Moon Valley right now, you can make 500 gold an hour because the price is up at the moment. And it's just like, wow. If you go farm this over here, like, because I know you love to farm, and there's a ton of different farming things, and you can even filter it out. Like, I just want to farm, or I just want to craft. Like, and it'll tell you if like you're crafting
or I just
stuff.
sit at the auction house and not do shit and make money.
It's for crafting. It's the same thing as TSM. Well, it'll tell you like what profit you can make off stuff, but you don't have to search every character. You just look at your different characters, be like, what's the most profitable thing for me to do right now? And it's really cool.
Yeah, I used to use the Underbog journal for that. They had a classic version. I think it was the Booty Bay Gazette, and it's like $2 a month that does the same thing, but it's not as comprehensive. Like, it's not like, hey, here's what you can do or whatever. It's just like, here's what, like, we just scan every X amount of minutes and here's all the prices. So that sounds really, really useful.
Yeah, this is nuts. This is really cool, but I thought that might be something you'd be interested, because they're going to have it in Wrath, and I know you love to farm, so.
I do love to farm. My first character in Wrath, I AoE farmed all the way up. I didn't do any quests.
You're a psychopath.
Maybe you have to do an intro quest, but other than that, that was my Wrath experience.
That's crazy.
Duranosaur says, please get the RXP Gold Guide and use the code Duranosaur.
You added the please. That made it sound more desperate. Please
do it.
Please.
It's like IADD and using code IADDQD for G Fuel.
Dude, I downloaded Raid Shadow Legends for that man back in the day.
I did too. He must have sent that to all of us.
Where's my kickbacks?
Yeah, I think a lot of those work like if you get X amount of people to download, you get the
Mm-hmm. You were the only 2 that downloaded.
All right, so what have we been doing lately in WoW? Do we want to let our guest go first here?
I'll go first, and it's
I
not
love calling Yip a guest.
Yeah, you're getting some sick pleasure out of it, I see. But I'm a boomkin. I am a big chicken, and it's pretty much the happiest I've been in a long time.
Boomkin's not a chicken.
I know, it's an owl bear, but it's funnier to call it a chicken. The same way like calling the Hawkstrider a chicken is funny. I'm a chicken riding a chicken.
Oh my god.
And it's awesome. Sometimes I'll jump off a cliff on my chicken and then turn into a boomkin and attack a mob and then lose half my health with fall damage. But my life has really been focused around becoming a PvP boomkin. And I started out with full boomkin. I went insane. I made up a spec. that no one's using. All right. And I was destroying battlegrounds left and right. And I wanted to do some arena. So I got into arena. And it's a little bit harder to cast all your spells in arena. I'll say that. You don't just get to stand back and cast all your spells. So that's rough. But honestly, it's really fun.
2s or 3s or 5s?
2s mainly. I did do 3s one night, full boomkin with 2 rogues. So with Sultan and with Kim's rogue, we went in, and that was really funny. And like we only did okay. I definitely think we could do well. But it was really funny, and our wins were hilarious. Like, can you imagine? You see 3 stealth. The last thing you think is it's going to be a boomkin. It's going to be one of them.
Oh, yeah,
like,
definitely.
2 rogues and a boomkin is such a shock to people. But even there, I felt like I couldn't do that much. So in this last week, I also played with Casimo. That's a big thing. He got 2 glaives, which is huge. I'm sure you talked about here.
Yep.
How we have 3 sets of glaives, which is insane. And he's our PvP rogue, our sweet PvP rogue. So I begged him for an entire day. I said, "Come on, man, you owe me.
I did the same thing.
As much. No.
I won't sit you as much."
No, but he took me into 2s. He completely wrecks people. I was definitely there helping, and it made me realize that.
Were you helping, or were you just observing / casting something?
Basically that one. That was but I had treants, so I'd summon out my treants and then I'd run around. So it was cool. But it wasn't like good enough. I wanted to get 1650 so I can get the ring. It's like I'm annoyed that there are requirements on the ring. I'm like, come on. So we were grinding up, we got to like 1500. But I decided that the full boomkin is kind of ridiculous. So now I'm still a boomkin, but I am I'm resto-kin. So I have a lot of the healing talents. I only just go down to resto. Not resto, I have boomkin. And then I have dream state, which gives you like a lot of intellect and mana. Probably, I don't know, I haven't read all my talents. I just click them. And then, yeah, I mean, our first couple games were rough. So this is going to be my weekend to learn it a little bit better. But I have kind of given into the whole okay, maybe healing isn't that bad. Maybe I should do some PvP healing, because I found myself when we were doing 2s, I'd be popping out of form and healing anyway. And I was like, I wish I was just doing this part better. Why am I not doing this part better? And it kind of works out. I go in, I heal some, I'm putting hots on, and then I turn into a boomkin and start blasting them. And it kind of takes them by surprise, because I think it's like resto, rogue, not boomkin.
Yeah, it's been done to be a few times, and if it catches you off guard, you can really get popped.
Yeah, it's really fun. I have almost an entire set. I saved some PvP tier for the 5 set of Vengeful. So my gear is very good. I've got over 400 resilience. I'm trying to pump that up and just get as strong as I can. So that's what I've been doing. That's been life. I mean, I've been raiding too, but who cares about that? The only thing that matters is Boomkin now.
Well, but you've also started a new series on YouTube. We talked about your teaser last week, but we didn't see the video yet. Yeah,
so I'm doing a pet hunting series, because back in the day, I was really into collecting mounts, so much. Yeah.
Can I first tell you what my prediction was?
Yeah, so what was your prediction?
That you would go to the one place and get the pet chicken. This was my prediction.
Wow. I did. That was it.
It was your I totally forgot to tell you that you were right when I watched it.
Come on, guys.
I totally forgot to tell you were right. Wow.
Wow, that's actually really good, because it was pretty cryptic. There really wasn't.
Yeah, I know. And I was actually semi kidding, but I was like, wouldn't it be great if he went and clucked the little guy?
The big thing for me is that I wanted to get something easy out of the way. Because first of all, I had to make an intro, which was a whole lot of nonsense, And I was like, I just want to put something out, and then it'll be I've started. And I was like, the chicken's perfect for that one, because I'm so chicken themed. So I was pretty happy with that. But yeah, so I'm hunting all the pets down. Back in Wrath, I was a serious mount collector on 2 different characters. I got the albino Drake, which is the 50 mount one, but I think I got more on both. But I was a big mount collector, and I don't have it in me to do that again. I don't feel like collecting mounts again.
That's
I'm much
actually
more in the one. I'm a one cool mount guy now. I want the one cool mount, and we move on.
And see, I'm doing the opposite. I'm doing the mounts. Like I've already got my, Talbucks, my Wraiths. I need to get on the Dragon one. That's probably a lot easier to do now. But like, it's like two things about that video. So I thought it was hilarious because I realized you weren't doing voiceover.
It's live.
Yeah, it was live because you were sitting there. You're like, oh. I hope this guy doesn't kill my chicken, because someone was killing all the chickens, and that guy was just looking at that juicy chicken, and you're like, no, I need to make this video.
Yeah, I started spamming /chicken at it, and I have a feeling he didn't know what I was doing because he just looked at me, and I was like, thanks. I'm glad he didn't kill it, which was nice.
It's funny.
But yeah, on Benediction, it's going to be a problem. I think everyone killing everything.
Back in the day. Back in actual vanilla, I remember people doing that and being like, why do people do this here? And then in hardcore, Harry Daughter's now Chucklebolt was in chat and he's like, dude, go get the chicken. I was like, what are you talking about? He told me, and we thought he was trolling us because it took forever to have it happen, and it finally happened, and it was hilarious. But the other thing was when you did the /chicken emote, your freaking Boomkin doesn't do a chicken thing. Like he doesn't do a chicken move like everybody else does. And I was so upset about that.
Yeah, I was pretty sad too. In my head, I was going to be there just like, and just like going back and forth with this chicken.
Or like, who?
Yeah, it wasn't as good. Yeah, true, Owlbear. But yeah, no, I mean, it's good. I have no pets on my druid, so it's nice to go back and do that again. Because if I was out doing it on my warrior, I would just have to like take it out. I wonder if you can I wonder if after you complete the quest, if you can still friendly the chickens. Probably can. I don't know. Like, can I just go be friends with all the chickens there by /chickening at them?
Somebody told me, it might have been Chucklebolt, told me that like if somebody takes your egg, you can't ever get it again. But I don't know if that's true. Because
that's not true. Somebody took my egg and I got another one.
Okay, you probably just have to do it again.
You probably just have to do the quest again. You have to abandon it and do it again.
Maybe.
Oh, that makes sense. Maybe. Yeah, you probably do have to abandon it, but hopefully that's that would be really funny if someone did that to me in the first episode of a pet hunting series. Like, well, that's a pet I'll permanently never get. Okay, moving on.
Really starting out with a bang here.
Just a tip on that too. I don't know what other mods do it, but like Addy Bags has a sell junk option. And it sold my egg as junk, and I had to buy it back. And so I put it in the bank until the pet tab comes, because I was like, what the hell? It just sold it as junk.
Funny. Imagine you had like some of the crazy like 10,000 gold pet, and it sells it every time you go to a vendor.
Yeah, it's just like, what? Oh,
this
man.
Is junk.
That's youtube.com/TheYipShow, right?
Yeah. I'm making a bunch of different series on there now. I'm finally starting to make stuff. I decided I'd hunker down and do it.
Awesome. Well, everybody's been wondering what the hell and wanting more. So give the people what they want.
I'll try to put in as little effort as possible to make people happy. Don't worry, guys. Come check me out.
Mel, what about you?
I've just been raiding. I think. Pretty sure that's all I've done. Oh, and then Bob made me go grind in like level 1 Ironforge quests with him so that he could get reputation to get him out.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like halfway through Revered with all the different main city factions, so I'll be able to get those mounts when Wrath comes out. But I don't want to.
Even at level 1, though, I feel like questing with Bob, I'm just like, will you move along? Like, we have an objective. We need to move. Like, let's get it going. Come on. You're just dilly-dallying, doing other things.
I'm just talking to Chad about movies and stuff and everything else. And she's like, just put me on follow. I'm like, okay.
Jesus.
Mel's an elite quester.
Yeah. Well, I'm just an efficient quester.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what I have to talk to chat because I've like basically told chat now I have like a little sign when I'm raiding that like, sorry, I probably won't answer you much. I'm concentrating. So I can't talk to him during raid anymore much. So I got to talk to him then. But it's been fun. Mel still is so, even though we're doing these like easy peasy quests, she's like so goal efficient. Like she's like, okay, all right, now we do this. Now we do this. Okay, this way to be the most efficient. She just loves it, dude. She eats it up.
Time is money.
Time is money,
Yeah.
friend. Oh man, so yeah. For me, what I've been doing is been doing some of that, doing some old reps. It's a fun thing to do on the weekend with Mel because no one else would ever do it with me. Been working fishing up on a couple characters. That's actually a lot easier in TBC than it was in Classic. Like at least up to like 100, I was getting a point for every single fish, whereas in Classic, like you stop getting a point in every fish at like 20, and like then it's like every 2 fish and every 3 fish.
Can you do it anywhere yet? Like, are you able to
No.
fish like anywhere?
That's in Wrath, I think.
In
is Wrath.
Okay.
You can fish anywhere and still gain points, but you only fish up junk if you're not the proper skill level.
Yeah,
Junk's
cooking
like
and
the best.
fishing. I know, right? Cooking and fishing, I've not even like touched in Classic at all yet, other than in the little hardcore I played. But I've just been like, I'm not doing this right now. It's just
Yeah, and then been doing PvP. I've also bothered the hell out of Casimo to carry me in different arenas, and it's been a blast. Been like I've been gearing up my warrior and getting a PvE set, and like I ended up getting to go to an off night BT. I ended up getting 2 pieces of tier. Then I also got the main hand what's it called from
Siphon.
Yeah, Siphon. So like I got Executioner put on that. Then I went in again to another BT the next week, and I got the headpiece. So now I was like, okay, well I got to do even more. So then I went and I bought the red belt, which is like 3rd or 4th bis currently, and I bought the like 4th bis boots. So I'm down to where I only have 4 pieces of PvE gear, and I now have because I got the correct meta for PvE, which is awesome. And then even though I have 4 pieces of PvP gear, the neck, the brutal neck is actually like 3rd bis for warriors. So like I'm excited to keep going on him and maybe get him like actually geared, because raiding on the warrior is so much fun. Even trash is a blast because like proper use of cooldowns like really makes a difference. I mean, it's so fun. Like I just find myself like enthralled with the thing that I've hated forever, trash.
I'm shedding a tear for all the warlocks out there. Oh, you poor souls.
Oh yeah. But yeah, it's been that's been a blast. And then yeah, just been PvPing, and it's been doing a lot of like I don't know, WoW stuff, but out of WoW, preparing for our new YouTube channel and trying to do clips and stuff, and making my eyes go cross-eyed, and learning how to make thumbnails because Mel can't make them all for me on this thing. So, but yeah, that's basically
what have you mainly been PvPing on? Your
rogue and warrior, but I've had much more success on the rogue.
Okay.
I ended up buying that season 3 sword and putting Executioner on it, the 2-hander. I found out I don't like swords. Like I haven't got to play with a chamois yet in like 3s, which probably would be a very different thing with the swords. But like having those stuns really helps you stay on top of a target. And without those stuns, like you really have to play almost perfect. It's really been a bummer for me.
There's also the sick satisfaction of knowing how annoyed they are that you got an RNG stun on them. You get like kidney shot, and it's like whatever, that's a thing a rogue does. But when you get mace stunned, you're like, come on, why did that have to happen? Like, I love that. I can feel their anger.
Yeah, but yeah, that's the rogue's actually been just really fun in PvP, and I'd love to get him involved in PvE too, but boy, it's just hard to talk people into that at all. Like, at least the warrior, coming to our off night BETs, I finished the raid overall in trash and bosses, I think both times 6th overall. So,
it's super solid.
It doesn't feel like I'm a drag on the raid, so like, but the rogue, like, still with the gear that I have is still doing like really good. And I've just been having a blast with all the arena points we've been getting. Like, my rogue's already got two set of brutal. Like, it's just, everything's really fun right now. So
yeah, I mean, I think if there's anything like the PvP that I've learned, is that I like getting things a lot faster. It's insane. Getting the honor dailies and now a ton of arena points every week. It's just better that way. It's more fun. You're really looking forward to each week because you're practically getting a piece every time, or you are getting a piece every week. It's really really good.
Yep. But yeah, that's been basically it. Oh, and I'm making quite a bit of money. Been doing GDKPs on a couple different things, but haven't, like, it's been hit and miss. I need to get in more ZA GDKPs like during the day, because like they could be pretty profitable. I'm thinking, but I think those are more run not on the server that I'm in, but more just in chat. Like, I just need to watch that.
Ask where you were finding GDKPs, because there are a ton just in chat. And when Harsky runs one, we just use trade chat to find people.
That's what I need to do for the ZAs, because the server I have, it runs like 15 GDKPs a day. But there's usually only 2 during the daytime, and they're not ZAs. They're like BT Sunwell or Mount Hygel and BT, and so there's not a whole lot of choice there. Where I think ZAs during the day might really be an easy find. So I think that's a plan for next week. But I've been talking way too long. Let's get to raid progress. I can't wait for this. I'm gonna get some popcorn.
Well, how many weeks have we been raiding? When did this even come out?
I think 3. I think this was our 3rd week, right?
This was the 4th week, right? No?
We had 1 week where it came out Thursday.
Yeah, I wasn't counting that, I don't think.
Okay, yeah.
So 3.5 weeks.
Full 3.5 weeks. Sunwell's hard, guys.
It's freaking hard.
Sunwell is hard. So I'll talk about this week and kind of give context to previous weeks. I love the trash, first of all. My opinions on Sunwell, it's like perfectly timed. Trash is really quick. There's bosses that are back to back, like going from Caligos straight to Brutalis. Except like you have like 1 or 2 packs there. You do Brutalis, then it's Fell Mist immediately. That is so nice. Not clearing an hour of trash to get somewhere. The trash really is much less hard than we were expecting, I think. Like the gauntlet, I think is pretty easy, which I think was a concern. But like, the trash feels really good, but the bosses are really hard, and we're still struggling even on bosses that I thought were on farm, because I think our 2nd week we had like an incredible raid Tuesday where I was just like, oh my god, we're insane, and it really messed up my view of Sunwell. And I was like, oh, we're gonna smash this stuff, but it's progressively, I don't want to say harder, but it definitely is a very hard raid. So, because Caligos,
the 2nd week, you guys got 2 Muru and got 1 attempt by end of week, right?
Something like that.
Then the 3rd week, you guys got to.
We got two
Muru in 2 hours on the first day.
In 2 hours. So we pumped through, even with wipes and stuff. We got to Muru. We had attempts on Muru on Tuesday, and then on Thursday I think we did 22 pulls of Muru, and we just like full sent it, and we never got the kill on Muru. So this week I was still feeling super good. I was like, dang, we crushed last week. We're going to crush again. And then we're going to have like attempts on Muru. We had a few new strategies we are going to try out, moving like where tanks were going to be, using arcane bombs, just stuff that was going to make things a lot easier. So we roll into Caligos, our good friend Caligos. And Caligos is always, we're doing something like, it falls apart after that first rotation.
I just feel like Caligos, every time we kill Caligos, we're like, okay, yeah, we did it. And it doesn't ever feel like, yeah, we got this. Right?
Yeah,
like
things are going wrong as he dies every time. Yeah.
Well, and it's so hard to like parse through what went wrong because logs don't work. Logs are like worthless.
Yeah. The logs are really tricky because it only logs like what floor you're on.
Yeah.
So if you go under, it doesn't know what's going on up top. So it is pretty tricky. We have that first rotation down pretty well of the people who are going into what portal. And then from there, I feel like a lot of people are probably winging it. But it ends up usually working. Maybe we'll wipe once and then we'll kill him just because our DPS is high. But
one thing I have noticed is that everybody gets on top of me, and I have to like on the top floor. Like I'm pretty sure, like that one I haven't looked into, but I'm pretty sure you take more damage if you're within the range, like the range 6 or whatever we set. Like everybody just gets on top of me.
Portaled. So if somebody gets portaled and you're within that range, you take damage. So typically you're not taking damage. But yeah, I feel like that's everybody just being stubborn, being like, you can move away from me.
I'll like move, and then I'm like, okay, I get 2 shadow bolts off, and then someone else moves into me, and I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'll move this way. Then get 2 shadow bolts, and then it happens again. And I'm just like, okay, come on, guys. Like I was here first.
We're not making a chart though. We already have one chart for the witch portals or for who. We're not making another chart for where to stand. We can figure it out. But yeah, I mean, Caligos is a really tough fight. I wish that the default UI had the damage of the top and bottom guy, no matter what side you were on. I wish there was just like,
I have a thing that shows me.
When you're up top, you see the guy's percentage down below.
Yes,
no way.
Yes,
I don't think it's default. Then it might be something else using that. Then
you'll have to look. I see who gets portaled. Like I can see that on my screen, but I don't think you can see
the percentage of both bosses. That's why when I'm in there, people are asking what the other boss is at. I'm like, isn't it right there?
Mel's got some secret knowledge going on.
Do a print screen
the
next time that's on so we can see it.
Yeah, because that would definitely help out a lot, because it is annoying to have to keep asking what the percentage is, because it's just so important. Like, I don't mind fights where you have to like keep them the same, but there's so much going on that one that it is like it's tough.
You can't have just one person doing it either, because there's always different people down there. So
yeah.
But
Caligos, it's tough. I mean, that is a tough first fight. I guess it is kind of like Hydros. So Hydros was a pretty tough first fight too, but you could just skip them if you wanted and just go somewhere else. So that always worked. But yeah, I mean, Caligos is tough, but I think, I mean, I don't want to say we've got him down, because like I said, every kill that we get it's just chaos by the end. But we have been consistently killing it.
Kill him.
Yeah. Brutalis, honestly, I was very afraid for Brutalis for a very long time. But he's fine. He's not too bad. Our healers really have Kitty Claws sometimes die, our other feral tank, but for the most part, we don't really have any like healing issues or anything on that fight. And our DPS, like the first week or two, our DPS was definitely struggling. He would hit berserk on some of the attempts that we were doing, but now we have like a minute before he berserks when we kill him. So like we have plenty of time, which is really awesome.
I feel like we also did it a little differently. Like we're not running as far anymore. And I feel like the first week, every time anybody got the debuff, they died.
Yeah. We had the way we were doing it at first, we had these like cones of people and we were making everybody move for burn. But now the melee don't move at all, which I think is a big portion of why there's a lot more DPS on the boss, is because the melee just stand there and get healed. And then we have like a tighter burn zone, but like people just live. Everybody lives the whole time. It's like a 180 from when we first started. So that works out great. I like the strategy that we have going now.
It could just be like, it is healer intensive, and there's been a lot of healer gear dropping too, so that could be helping. And just like honing skills. People, are rising to the occasion. It's just a
Yeah,
guess.
I think-
it's learning the fight too, though,
Yeah.
right? Like, I think it's just learning, like, oh, this person has the debuff. They're going to take damage after this long, right? Like, we need to heal them, and it's going to get progressively worse. Like, I think it's a lot of that. Just us.
It reminds me of the council fight where like it's so chaotic, but once you realize like, okay, someone who gets envenomed is going to take a lot of poison damage, but like someone who takes one tick of blizzard, they probably won't take immediately more damage, so you can wait a second to heal them or something. Yeah, stuff like that matters a lot. And then I think what's been helping our fights is more strict healer assignments have definitely been helping. We're using angry assignments now when Hearthscare just like writes out all the stuff that people should be doing on it. And I think that definitely plays a part too. But this week, Brutalis
was angry assignments. You can make it highlight like your name.
What?
Yeah, I have it highlight Mel, Arena, or healer or healers.
I need to do DPS, warlocks, or Bob.
Yeah. So when it comes up, it's like all in black, and then it's like highlighted where it says Mel or healers.
Wow. That's useful. Wow, that's cool. I gotta look at angry assignments more. Can you minimize the giant wall of text that comes up?
In combat,
it off?
You can turn it off in combat.
No, you could turn. That would be really good. You could like make it go up and down. So like I have mine at the top of this. Well, I have mine at the top of the screen. So if I do up, it just goes off of the screen.
Oh,
mine,
that's helpful. It still takes up the same amount.
Mine wasn't doing anything. I click the button and it just stays there. I can either turn it. Well, maybe I'm thinking the same thing, but I can turn it like off fully, but I can't like the minimize button. Maybe it only works in combat or something, but I've just been doing twins has a lot of text, and I've just been doing twins with that giant wall of text next to me because I'm like clicking it. I'm like, go away.
No,
can you make the text smaller?
Turn off. Yes, you can, but there's also an option in there that you can turn off during combat. So you have it whenever you're out of combat, but then once you go into combat, it goes away.
Yeah, I should take some more time and take a look at angry assignments because I just have it on during raids, so like I forget to even like look at it again, and I'm like, oh yeah, angry assignments.
Well, shout out to Game Freak for that add-on of the week.
Yeah, that was it's a good add-on. It's helped a lot, I think, in our raids. But Brutalis has been really decent. It's really nice to be able to like swap my gear around for different fights on my druid. Before in Hyjal and Black Temple, it was like I could just wear my most aggressive gear, and we could 4 heal in my most aggressive gear, and it's not like me dying that's a problem. It's like crazy how I could do whatever I wanted. But now it's nice to be like, oh, I got to make these trinket switches. Like maybe I should get my crit cap somewhere else. So that's been really enjoyable. And Brutalis is one of those fights where he does
back to your warrior days.
Yeah, it's like back to the warrior days because he does a stomp that halves your armor, so you can actually go higher than armor cap with your druid, so that when he stomps you, you're not just immediately dead. So it's pretty cool the different things you can do. I had like I don't think it wasn't that special, but this week I feel like I had a little bit of a hero play because I one tanked like the last like minute and a half of Brutalis, flipping him back and forth on each side, and right before he died, I took a flame lash that was like 14.5k. My health went to like 0, but I was still alive, and then some heals went off and I went to full health again, and I was just like, oh my god, we're doing it.
Yes, this is the moment where Yips like in like, oh, I'm doing amazing, and the healers are like, oh my fucking god.
Again, I don't think it was a hero moment for me. I just have to drag the guy back and forth. Like I just had to pick good gear and then move him back and forth. It was like insane though how much damage I was taking. But I was kept up, and it was really fun to get it down. But then after that, everything went to absolute garbage.
That was the end of the bliss.
It was the end of the bliss. I got tricked. I was fooled into thinking we were incredible. I was like, are we the best guild in the whole game? that was insane. And then we go to Felmist, and honestly, I've blacked out most of the reasons why we were struggling on Felmist. But we were struggling on Felmist. How long? Were we on there for like an hour and a half?
Oh my god, it felt like an eternity.
So
the only one that sticks out in my mind, and this is completely unfair because it was just the funniest one, was when Harscar was like, run left. And then everybody, like, half the guild ran right and half the guild ran left. And everybody's like, no, why would you do that? And everybody's like, what is happening? And then the flame just comes right down on all of us. Went to show how dependent we are on Harscar.
Well, a big problem that we had is that he's the only one who says which way to run. And then he died, though. So I was trying to talk too. And like, because he said he had a bad angle and it was coming in the middle. And he yelled south and I yelled north. And then like, it just made everyone freeze in the middle.
Yeah.
But in reality, either would have been fine. But everyone was like, oh, where are we going? And yeah, so that was definitely... yeah,
that one was
I don't even know.
We all chuckled at that one, and it was like our 15th wipe. I feel like that's probably exaggerating, but
I don't know how many times you guys wiped, but like, so I've sat every Felmis so far, so I haven't actually got to do it. So I had to ask Elizabeth, how does Harscar know to call north or south? Because I'm always watching either Not Fruit or Elizabeth or Skeet, and they're never looking up. Because the calls, so I guess like the dragon actually points to where he's going to flame and you go the opposite direction.
Yeah, here's what happens. So he flies, the dragon does a breath and flies across, then waits there while the breath is still on the ground. And you know how like once the breath goes away and you can go to the middle again, the dragon then will fly somewhere, either north, south, or middle, and then breathe again and fly to the other side. So we have to wait. We wait for the flame to go away. And then if he flies south, then you know to go north. If he flies north, you know to go south. And if he's in the middle, you just pick one. And the problem was he was in the middle and we were just calling two different things. So
so it was an hour and we wiped 7 times.
Yeah, I did. I also just brought it up. Yeah.
Did you guys, the first time you did it, did you killed him twice? You killed him twice before that. Both times, I feel like even the first time you killed him, it was only like 2 wipes. Like you guys, like
we
nailed it.
Never had that much trouble on film.
Yeah, I think we had 2. I think the first night was pretty rough. I think we might have wiped 4 times or something. Because I remember being like, we're all like, oh, this was supposed to be like a loot pinata, and we're wiping. But really, that came down to we weren't handling encapsulate well at all. People were always dying on encapsulate. We were definitely struggling more on the dispels because I think that people were just leaving it to the priests, so there'd always be like a couple of people who had a ton of damage coming in.
The mass dispel,
and then what happens is like encapsulate comes out so quickly after that. If people are hurting, they all just die. So, but at first,
we got a good cadence on our dispels. I think we're
yeah. Dispels are not a problem at all. Everyone is topped up by the time encapsulate happens.
Well, it seemed okay. So I was watching Elizabeth, and he had dispels displayed, and Kim gave one. He gave he gave a timing tip to the priests, and all of a sudden, Mel and Pentha jumped from like single digits to like double digits. Sometimes in the 30s.
There's confounding variables here, though, because we also swapped which groups we were dispelling and who was dispelling what, right?
It just went from horrible to awesome, like in a second, though.
I mean, and it was, and I think I always appreciate Kim's tips. I mean, he always helps, but I do think a lot of it too was trying to get trained on looking for the cast, right? Like that was a lot of it where you have to precast it, right? So you're so focused on healing and getting all the damage healed up that like watching for the cast to go off at a, not on a raid frame is just getting used to that fact that you have to look for that.
Yeah. But the difference between, I mean, I think that even if you send it as soon as it comes out, it's fine. But the difference between the precast, it just like all the dispels were like all the poison was just disappearing on people on our good attempt. It was like, oh, okay, this is insane. Like,
our good attempt was like perfect. It was like,
which is like we had one other. Our third attempt was also basically perfect. We just messed up that one north or south too, and that I think got into people's heads. But yeah, we had 7 wipes over the course of an hour, and then we got Felmis down. I mean. It's tough. And I honestly think that maybe people were just out of it as well, too, because there were a lot of like just the night as a whole, I think. I don't want to say it was like, it's hard to pinpoint it. It just felt like sluggish. Like everyone was a little bit sluggish, maybe. And I think after like you wiped 4 times on Fell Mist, you're kind of just like, oh my God, like this is something that
because you guys did such a good job the previous week. I wasn't there the previous week. That's not why you guys did good. Don't read into that.
Yeah, listen, less priest is not the reason you do better on Fell Mist, no. But yeah, I mean, Fell Mist, we got it. We killed it. We're all good there. So we went to do twins after that. And twins is interesting. Twins is tough for us, I think, for a couple of different reasons. And one of them, I think, does have to do with the fact that we don't have like a dedicated healer leader kind of person, because it's really hard for Harscare, who's our raid leader, to like get an immediate understanding of what's going wrong. And so we were definitely struggling on twins, and we ended up not killing twins at all. We wiped 8 times on twins on a fight that we've killed twice now. I think we killed twins 2 times.
Because I've killed them once, and you guys killed them once without me.
Yeah, I've killed him once and sat once.
So we've killed him 3 total times then, I think, right? Something like that. Either way, though, it felt like we had twins down. We might have only killed twins once. I might be misremembering. We might have only killed twins once.
No, you did. You killed twins at the very end of the night, the second week, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and like our last attempt. So, yeah, I mean, I felt like we had twins down. We had a new strategy basically last week, and we were able to kill twins in like 2 pulls or something like that. It felt really, really good. We basically were just tanking like right underneath the ledge. It felt like we had enough space for everybody. The shamans were just going crazy with their chain heals. They had like more strict heal assignments of like just heal the druid tanks, and then it would pop over to the melee. We have certain people just healing the ranged. But on Tuesday, everything went awry. Like 30 seconds into the fight, people were just dying to damage. And again, it's hard to tell. Like, it can be people having too many stacks. Like, it's so hard to tell like exactly what's going on.
Right.
Like who should have been healing that person. So we kind of overcompensate. We just brought in all of our healers. I'm going to be honest. We brought in the full heal squad.
You had like 8 at some point, right? I will
say from a healer perspective, well, a priest perspective, is I think part of it is that if I heal, because I was on melee healing, right? And there's 2 melee groups. One of them, like all of them, are taking a lot of damage. And the other one, Fab is taking a lot of damage. And so like I had to pick, like, do I heal Fab or do I heal 5 people in this other melee group? Right. And so Fab was sacrificed. And I think that's, at certain times, like, you have to make a choice. Like, you've got 2 groups to heal, and which one are you going to get more value on? That was my 2 cents on that.
Well, as a holy priest, that like might always be the correct like flowchart answer, because you're like, should I circle of healing and leave the fabulous healing to a druid or a paladin? Or I mean, it might be nice if when we had 3 priests in, which is a ton, but like Kim's pointing out in chat, there's a ton of circle of healing overlap, which is like absolutely like you got like we would lose people to damage, but you guys still had like very high heals and a lot of overhealing.
Overhealing with circle of healing, though, right?
Yeah,
because
they're
healing. Like, even if I heal 5 people and 3 of them needed healing, it's more efficient for me to do circle of healing and overheal 2 than it is to flash heal.
Like, just straight up healing, I don't think shows overhealing in that. I think that's a separate stat.
Yeah.
The what?
Whenever you see heals per second, it does not include the overhealing.
That's a whole separate stat.
But yeah, I mean, all I'm saying is that maybe having one of the priests be discipline instead, because then we get pain suppression, you get slightly stronger shields, I guess, and then you have someone who can more tank heal, because it does feel like whenever we need a lot more healing on one person, it's like, who should do it on one of these AoE heavy fights? A shaman, like a priest? Like, we want those people like AoE healing as much as possible, but then we have the paladin and like the druid tank healing, so they can't necessarily stop doing that to go heal like one person and snipe that heal. So it is kind of like the heal assignment part is definitely a struggle sometimes.
It seems
so
like
I think.
Oh, sorry. Go. No.
No, I was just saying. I
Like,
think
giving up a second circle of healing, though, I think would make us struggle in certain fights.
Oh, I only mean if we have 3 of them in. If
If we have 3, then yeah.
We had you, Pentha, and Liz in at one point, which was which I think is good. And it's like you're all good healers, so we want you all in, but we're like, but it's 3 circles of healing. You're all holy. Like,
that's
is that
much,
good?
Right?
Yeah. So maybe having a set discipline priest or rotating discipline priest or something like that could be useful. But we finally had.
Oh, here, hold on.
Yes.
Before you go on to that, I was just going to ask. It looked like a couple of the early wipes were. I got 2 questions. This is the first one. It looked like a couple of the early wipes were conflagrate, and I wonder if just the week before, those people had never been conflagrated and just didn't have a. Because when I came in Thursday, we were given a weak aura that I never saw it because I never got conflagrate, but like supposedly it shows up and makes a crazy sound. Like I wonder if people got conflag and just blew up.
Yeah, no, I think so. The problem is we weren't spreading conflagrate. It was fine. It's just people were dying to conflagrate like when they get it. So it was like they just needed a lot more single target healing. No one the conflagrate deaths weren't people spreading it accidentally. We might have had like 1 or 2 times that happened, but things were already looking rough at that point. It was just like the first person got conflagrate, they run out and they always take damage no matter what. And they were just dying, which is the problem. But it comes down to like, it's like bystander, like whatever, where it's just like, who's going to heal this person?
All right. And then my second question, and this is because basically as a Destro Warlock at the moment, my spec has Shadow. It's the thing where I have a pretty good chance of going immune to both shadow and fire damage. Saves a ton of damage on Brutalis. I mean, it's really just an overpowered thing at the moment in Sunwell. So my stacks never got higher than like 3 or 4 before that procced, and it was gone. So I want to know. Anybody besides a Warlock, I was told you go down and stand like by one of the bosses to like drop your stacks.
Just stand in melee. That's it. So you guys are constantly taking fire damage up top. We're constantly taking shadow damage down below. So we have the fires that we can just run into where Gunt is tanking if we want to drop our stacks. But you guys can't consistently take shadow damage without coming into melee, where she just does like a constant shadow damage that like after a few seconds it will hit you, and you can run back. I'm not sure that it's worth running back. You probably could just stand in melee and just keep pumping there. But it's basically just a way that you can like automatically get rid of your stacks. But it does take a little bit of time. So sometimes people freak out because they'll jump down with 10 stacks and then like now they have 11 stacks and they're like, what the heck's going on? But you have to just stand in melee and wait for it to happen. So
yeah, the locks
can be a little bit weird.
The Destro locks with that talent, and any Destro lock that's doing the current Destro spec correctly has that talent, and it's overpowered, man. It saves.
Yeah, that's crazy. I thought maybe it'd be bad because maybe your stacks wouldn't drop because you're like immune or something, but it sounds like it
drops
was good.
Them completely.
That's
and
awesome.
The only thing, one tip for anybody out there who is that spec that still goes back and does KT, I did a GDKP, and I was there was only locks that were at the Destro spec, and they wanted me to tank because I was the most geared. So I tanked the mage. You can make a macro that cancel auras. The aura. You just have to look up what the aura is for that shadow immunity. It'll instantly cancel it, and then you'll still be able to keep aggro using Searing Pain on the mage. So if you're taking as a warlock, just remember that macro, and you do not have to respec.
Yeah, because it's a big problem if you become immune, right? She just runs into melee range, right?
Yep.
Try that. Let's see how that works.
Yeah, you just lose aggro. Really, but if you're just smashing it, you instantly take it off, and like she doesn't run anywhere.
Okay, let me tell you one really funny thing about twins. Is There's so many times where you know how you get the stun shadow something stuns you?
Yeah, like Shadow Fury or something. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're all stacked like pretty close together on top. And so like I'm sitting here looking at my raid frames and I'm like trying to heal and I'm like, what the hell is happening? And then all of a sudden like I start healing again and I'm like, is my computer bugging or something? And then I realized that I was getting stunned and yeah, that's fine. But yeah, it took me a couple of times.
Yeah, I'm like that a lot, actually. I'll just be like, why can't I use my button? Like, why is my button working? Like, I never notice when I'm like incapacitated or anything.
Especially if I'm in a group. Like, nothing's worse than in getting on that ledge in that group and trying to figure out where I'm at on the ledge. Because if I'm back on the ledge, I can't heal the people that are down on the ground, all of them. So I have to be close to the ledge. But the first week I got too close to the ledge and I fell off and then I pulled the boss. So I'm like really nervous about that. So it's a struggle, guys. It's a stressful time.
I'm sorry. I have one more question. I meant to ask Harskaret, but I forgot to. But Juan Strayed in chat asked, do you PvP trinket conflag? Now, this is something I heard on a Crix video that if you are like, he's talking about if you get conflag, you walk out of the room and you use the PvP trinket and then walk back. But the way you guys have explained it to us,
hold on, we don't want. Yeah, I understand what you're saying, and you can do that. We don't want you to do that though.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know.
If you get conflagged again and then are hit with Shadow Fury, you'll be stunned in the group with conflag and wipe us instantly. So that actually. Oh, that leads us perfectly into our last attempt on Tuesday on Twins. We brought in our full heal squad, which I don't think we needed, but it helped. It did cheese a little bit. We were able to live very well. Everyone was living. We almost have Sacrolash down or whatever. And Not Fruit, our shaman, one of our shaman healers, gets hit with Conflag and Shadow Fury and doesn't have his PvP trinket and just wipes us instantly because he can't get out. So we want people to save their PvP trinket for the Shadow in case that combo comes out, because it can just mean like instant death. So you can PvP trinket the Conflag, but we don't right now. And maybe it would be like a ton easier if we did. And maybe like, yeah, I mean, maybe we should just do that, and maybe it'll like make things easier.
3 times, we're just like, F it, let's just
exactly.
Either way, that's a good clarification because I was so confused. So I was like,
it's an RNG thing entirely. We had tons of pulls where it never happened once, and you totally could PvP trinket conflag. But it's just bad if all that happens and you wipe because of it. But honestly, it might be better if we're going to wipe that many times. It might be better to just PvP trinket the conflag and just pray we don't get a Shadow Fury conflag at the same time. So maybe that's something we'll look into doing going forward, because again, we did struggle this week. Yeah, I mean, it's a tough fight when there's that much AoE
like,
damage.
Why couldn't I have come on last week when you guys killed it and like went through everything?
No, it's good. I get to deconstruct my thoughts during this and be like, and like think about like what did happen?
Why did we?
How do we improve? But yeah, I mean, listen, our DPS. I'm not saying our healers are bad. I'm just saying our DPS is really high. Once we figure out the best way to do mechanics, everything will be very smooth. We're just like, we're still in a growing pain phase, but we're not the old Varg anymore. We are willing to adjust and adapt to whatever makes it easier for us. But we did come back and we got Twins down after a few more wipes this Thursday. Let's see how many. We wiped 4 times and then we got it on that last time. And again, honestly, it really comes down to, yeah, we had some stricter healing assignments, which I think helped, but then just managing threat during the pull. And once we have like a really nice lead, people can just blast, and we're able to get through the fight like very, very quickly, because the actual fight took 3 minutes, 32 seconds. We had pulls, we had wipes that lasted longer than that, where we didn't even get to the second boss. Like we were just struggling because like you lose a DPS 30 seconds in and everything is going to go a lot slower. Or
Then the healers
DPS,
are out of mana, and then it's
yeah,
just like,
or DPS go crazy and she starts walking up the ramp, and we got to pull her back down. That is like the most
The best
kind of annoying thing. But
the best is the second to last pull. Harskar, it's like, okay, I don't want to see any curse. I don't want to see fairy fire. I don't want to see anything on the boss until I call DPS. Immediately on pull, fairy fire.
yeah, it happens.
It was so good.
It happens. It can be disheartening sometimes, but
I remember I remember on what was it, Felmist, Harskar was like, he goes, all right, we're done Dynakin flags. Nobody is allowed to Dynakin flags anymore. It is no longer acceptable.
I was watching that, yeah.
And I was sitting here and I was like, shit, I don't get flagged.
And then someone did it. I'm not going to name the name, but somebody did it. And Harskar's like, we just talked about this.
Yeah, this
After
is
the
definitely
12th wife on Felmist, though, you're like, okay.
Oh, that's good stuff.
Yeah. I mean, this has definitely been the biggest grinder for our guild, as far as like, it's not overly frustrating because the boss fights are really hard. It's like this weird in between of being like frustrated because we're not doing it, but it's not easy to be like, oh, these idiot DPS just aren't doing their job. It's just like, oh my god, this is just hard content. Like
it's still fun. It's still that fun,
it's fun
piece where it's like, we wiped, something went wrong, we can learn from it, like, let's go on. And yeah, I mean, the more you get, I feel like the Felmist was an outlier because we had downed him so many times without that many wipes before, right? Like, I think Twins and Muru, it's like, okay, I know people go in with the expectation that we're not going to one-shot it, right?
And it's another thing, it's the parse meta does cause problems because, so on that last poll, Harskar is like, seriously, do not DPS until I say. So I did a doom on the off target because that takes a minute before it goes off, but that didn't touch yours. Just waited. Other people were doing some damage, but they were trying to manage. I'm just zero, like just waiting. Harskar calls it. I go in. I'm able to pump the entire time. Maybe I could have gotten more, but I ended the fight 3rd overall DPS. So I mean, like, everybody's trying to inch that little extra, and I just wish people would turn their parsing brains off until it's on farm. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's definitely true, where like it just doesn't matter that much. We just need to get boss kills right
down.
Now.
Boss kill is the most important.
Yeah, once things are more on farm, we can definitely go a little bit crazier, and that's why I've been I want to say I've been a little, like, I don't mind sitting people, I guess. Like, normally I feel more bad, but it's like, these bosses are so hard. We just got to do whatever we can do to get it down, and we'll go from there. So yeah, it's definitely fun. But some of these, when you wipe certain amount of times, it definitely becomes disheartening. But we did get Twins down, which was good. A lot of loot, all healing gear as normal, as our guild gets. We're already getting pieces almost disenchanted, so that's just the way it goes. But then we get to Muru. And Muru is a draining fight. By the end of a night on Muru, I am ready for bed. Let me put it that way. So the first time we attempted Muru, we had I think it was just last week. I could be crazy. Could be the week prior.
Because it was you guys. I hadn't seen Muru until tonight.
Yeah.
Or
so
this week.
So we go into we kill Twins that first time. Or maybe it was the second time we killed Twins, and we had about an hour to go kill Muru, which of course we weren't going to do. We weren't planning on doing it, but we wanted to see the fight a little bit. So we go through the trash. We might have even had less than an hour. We go through the trash. We have like a pull or two, maybe just even one pull to see what the boss does. Great. Now we have all of Thursday to do nothing but bash our heads against Muru.
And this was last week.
Yeah, and over that course of time, we definitely learned a lot. I was picking up the Sentinels. We had a Paladin, another Feral picking up the Humanoids. And at first, we were just blizzarding the Void spawns and trying to get them down. We have Warlocks who are enslaving Void spawns. But it was just like not working out. It was like we clearly needed to be doing something else. And I had suggested maybe frost nades would be good. Actually, I think I said normal bombs because they stun, and I was like, maybe that would help. And then someone said frost nades work, so we used frost nades. And then after that night, we decided on arcane bombs being the easiest or the best thing because they completely silence them, so they end up doing like no damage at all because they won't cast their shadow bolt volley. So the arcane bomb is sort of where we ended up.
Hi,
We ended
George
up
here.
moving
Congrats
the
on a
paladin to the sentinel over the course of this past week because we wanted him to be able to like holy wrath and exercise the sentinel, and then holy wrath the little guys when they come out. And then the bears, because there's only 3 humanoids that come out, bears actually pretty adequate at that because we can just swipe and then bring them back. So that worked out pretty decently. But the first night we had 22 attempts on Muru, I believe.
You also had the priest was taking a lot of aggro, which I felt so bad for Penta because I wasn't there and he did all the learning for me. So that was nice of him.
Yeah.
But we ended up getting silent resolve on our priests and subtlety.
Oh, really? I was wondering what I thought you guys were just being better. Not like better, but I thought you guys were like,
oh yeah, no,
slowing down.
Yeah, Penta, that that's one of the reasons I say he's a go-getter, because he was like, I was getting ready to suggest it to Mel because I'd seen it in a Sarth Tips, I believe it was Sarth Tips video, to take that talent and then just have your Shadow Priest buff everybody. Yeah, and so Penta was like, I'm going to do that and this. I was like, oh, yeah, I was going to say that to Mel. That's awesome. But they got this, the enchant on their cloak, too.
We all got 3 points in silent resolve, which reduces our threat from healing. And then the subtlety enchant, which reduces our threat on our cloaks. And so that helped a lot. And then we talked about, prayer of mending before when the bosses come out, because that takes healer threat and puts it on the tank, or before the people come out. And then
nice.
Yeah, so that worked out really well, I think.
Yeah, I don't remember a time that a priest was pulling aggro and it being a problem
unless
at all.
It was Kim.
Kim. Okay, well, that was oh, yeah. It wasn't his fault or anything. It's just a very annoying fight where things are running around everywhere.
Let me just tell you guys, not being able to buff Fort, like, really eats at my soul. I need to turn it off my raid frames because every time I see these like blue bars, which is the color they turn when they don't have Fort, I'm just like, group 4 doesn't have Fort. And I don't want to be that person.
You should be happy. You should be like, I don't have to buff.
It's like me on my warrior when I because I have a weak aura for battle shout. And like, if I'm not the warrior doing battle shout, that goes off sometimes, and it drives me nuts because like when I'm doing it, it never goes off because it's like a big red thing in the middle of my screen that pisses me off. And so I'm like, can I just do battle shout, please?
I hated in Classic when people had like varying strengths in battle shout, so you couldn't even reapply it until it dropped off.
I hated that because I do it like at least 20 seconds prior.
Override?
No,
the lower one can't override.
Oh,
but yeah,
it's like a renew.
Like if you don't have 100% uptime, let me do battle shout, or else I'm gonna like be freaking out.
Yeah, it is like that. But yeah, I mean, I don't even know what to say about Muru. We've gotten decent at it, and that's sort of where we're at. We have almost 50 pulls, I think, something like that. We're probably at like 42 pulls. It's been quite a few. It's a draining way to spend an entire Thursday, that's for sure. We did lose a warlock over the last week, which is not great for Muru progression. I think it's fine. I think we still did better this week. But it's definitely not like an ideal situation.
Well, it's oh, sorry. I was just going to chime in. Like 3, I think, is the minimum you could do without like, I don't think less than 3 is even possible with our current gear. Right. But then each one you adds another void walker that you can enslave. And those guys do like a third of your damage over the fight. Right. And it's nuts. It also adds uptime. I think 5 warlocks is like full uptime on improved shadow bolt. So improved Shadow Bolt is 20% more shadow damage. It also helps the Shadow Priests. Like, that's like so huge on the very start of the fight to get Muru down too. You know, like 20% on Shadow Bolt is just absolutely nuts. And so like it's so hard to judge this fight because the more warlocks you have, the cheesier the fight gets. And so yeah, I just wanted to throw that in. Sorry.
Yeah, and our comp is very heavy. Hardscare talked about this a bit, and it's just kind of true. We have a lot of support classes in our raid at the end of the day. We're carrying a Boomkin and Ellie, a survival hunter. Obviously we have like Shadow Priests and stuff like that, but like not a lot of guilds are running all of these things. And I'm not saying it takes up space, but it's definitely like room where we could change more things.
It's not an ideal comp.
I feel like the Affy
it's
though.
Not ideal.
I feel like the Affy is one that is definitely actually needed just because.
Yeah, I think everyone. I think most guilds are running Affy and Survival Hunter, and then from there you can kind of like go from there.
Yep.
But not a lot are running Ellie, but our Ellie is very good, so it's fine. It's not a problem that we have an Ellie, but not a lot of guilds are running an Ellie. They just put a Resto Shaman in that spot to put down a lot of put down like spell power.
Well, it just sucks because an Ellie could be like 99 parsing but still be like your 15th DPS, you know, like it's horrible.
Yeah, it's not ideal, but again, like Sunwell is the first time we run into problems like this. It's just hard content, and when you look for answers, like there's so many answers because it's not like one in particular thing with Muru. I feel like we're pretty decent at Muru, but we're struggling to like push it over into phase 2. We're really good at getting Muru down to like 5 to 10%. Yeah. And then, and when that, sometimes that'll be on fights when we didn't even use heroism, and we'll get it down to 5 to 10%. And that's where I think some frustration comes in, because it's like, we'll have a really good no hero pull, and then we'll hero and someone will like die immediately. And it's like, why? And then we'll have no deaths at all in the no hero.
Aggro? Is it that they pull aggro? Is that why?
It's always
something different because there's so many moving parts. And then like Harskar was saying at the end of the night, the times that everything's going right with all the moving pieces, the DPS gets off to a slow start, like doesn't do like, and so like just something's going wrong every time.
Yeah. I think ideally we get Muru into phase 2 before the 5th humanoids come out, which we have the DPS to do, which we have basically done. It just stuff starts falling apart a couple minutes in. Once we're a few minutes in, it falls apart. But we need to just be able to do more damage on Muru. I think that's our biggest problem, is how do we get more damage on Muru? We've lived through the 5th humanoids coming out, but Muru should just be down before then. And I think that on normal fights, we have the DPS to achieve that. It's just having it all align at once. But the problem is we need to do it consistently enough, because then there's a phase 2 that we need to do. So we should hopefully be able to do that like almost every pull. We need to be getting to phase 2 so that we can progress that, which phase 2, if you go in with everybody alive, isn't necessarily hard, but we should need to see it a couple of times before he actually dies. So it's kind of like very daunting. Muru feels very daunting right now.
Well, and I've been like really because like I'm a big fan of Crix and Sarth, and I've just been watching all their stuff, and they're like, damage Muru, damage Muru, damage Muru at the start. Do not start seeding until you get your first Void Walker, right? And I'm just like, I watched VODs today, and like the guilds are just like, they're not even messing with the ads at all until the first circle, the shadow circle that everybody has to run out. And they're just getting Muru down to the 30s. Yeah, like
yeah. I mean, that really might be the most important thing, because that is all we're lacking. I think we know the mechanics. We're using arcane bombs. We have all this stuff down. We just need Muru to be dead.
Well, I don't know. Well, and I don't know if it's just that, because like, okay, looking at just myself, I went over logs today, and I found multiple things that I could be doing to improve my play quite a bit. So I was looking at uptime and then damage during uptime. I had the highest warlock damage during uptime, but I had less, like a good like 12 per well, maybe it was 10% less uptime, and I realized I'm running too far to the right and to the left to start DPSing these sentinels. I need to just wait for the tanks to put them in place, then move and be doing either damage on Muru or helping the melee catch up on AoE, and that would be more beneficial than me moving. Then on top of that, I could do Doom, right? So I should be putting Doom on Muru every one minute, and I got better at that throughout the night. Last night, I kept reminding myself at the start of the fight, make sure you do this. As soon as you enslave your first sentinel, that is the time to go and the mob after the sentinel. I forget the name, but that's the time to re-up the second Doom. And I thought to myself, what if I make my Doom macro a focus target macro, so I could set Muru focus at the start of the fight and then just control Doom, and then Doom goes on Muru. I don't have to click on him. I just do it like on the fly. That could save 1 or 2 globals. So that's another way to improve. And then kind of, I'm not sure about this one, but maybe use Health Stone early on, so I have one up for when the healers are actually struggling. It because
they don't struggle till
till later,
the third humanoids, and then things start getting wild.
So there's so many things I think people can improve on individual.
No, I agree with you, and that's partially what I mean by just do more damage. I think that if everybody did what you did and go through and be like, how do I do better? What is my class doing on a kill that works? They're on Muru this long. They're they're waiting to get on the Sentinel. That kind of info I think is probably important. It's hard for Hearthscare to go in and do that, especially on the fly,
everybody. Yeah.
That's exactly where we're at though. When Muru's at 5% or I think 10% and everything's cool and then it starts going bad, if we just eke out that extra bit of damage, we just eke out, how can we stay on Muru a little bit longer? How can people I bet there's probably wasted AoE on the humanoids because we killed them. There were times where we were killing the humanoids 20 seconds before the next humanoid pack comes out. Maybe that's time we should have been more focused on Muru instead of the humanoid packs. And there's all these moving parts, and I think a lot of it is kind of an individual thing where there's just so much craziness going on. And then the shamans pull threat from the sentinels and stuff. Well, and the sentinel spawns real close. It's crazy and scary. And
I hate going back onto this because but I'm a warlock, so I understand this more than I understand other classes what they're doing. But that was why I was harping on the locks to stay Shadow Bolt on Muru when the ads first come out, because if they start seeding, then all of a sudden, even if I'm still Shadow Bolting, I have lost improved Shadow Bolt. So we're doing so much less damage on Muru at that point. And there's so many different things, but it's good because up until really now, and there were a couple fights before, Vash and TK, where but for the most part, Classic has been manage your rotation and you're going to be good. And now we're getting into where manage your rotation along with mechanics. It's not just mechanics where you have to move out of this or you have to move over here. Tanks have been doing it on a lot of fights for a while, but now it's getting to the point to where everybody's having to do it. You would have to move stuff out of stuff, and then the people have to move with you.
This is still a huge step up. I feel a lot of these.
It's good practice though for ref.
Good. I mean, it's fun. They're fun fights. It's just when you're Muru, it's when your 40 wipes in, it becomes very daunting. But when
I had
Muru
a blast
dies,
Thursday night.
We're all going to be screaming. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah. Okay, here's my question. Do you guys think that Sunwell is harder comparatively to how hard Nax was when we went into Nax?
Oh, I think Muru for sure. I think Muru's the hardest fight we've seen to date. At least with 3 or 4 warlocks.
If you compare Muru to any boss in Nax, yes, Muru's harder. But I'm saying based on how we were progressing at that point, our feelings towards, there was a lot of bosses in Nax that we really struggled on.
Trash seemed harder in Nax to me.
I think that if Nax only had 6 bosses, then Sunwell would be harder.
Bosses?
Oh, okay, sure. Maybe I was just thinking like if you average it out, because I think that there's a lot of hard Nax bosses, but hard is like 5 to 6 wipes, and then like we could get it. And then there were a couple bosses like Saffron and 4 Horsemen. The problem is without world buffs, we would like just leave anyway. So it's kind of like, but I think that the really hard bosses in Nax are very similar to Sunwell. I feel like Muru is probably the hardest boss that we've come against so far.
I feel like the hard bosses in Nax are similar to like maybe Twins and Felmis and Brutalis that we've faced so far. But I think Muru, and I don't know.
Yeah. And the thing is though, like Sunwell only has 6 bosses, so it's like there are some hard ones, but there's also some not as hard. Like, I mean, Caligos is hard and Brutalis is hard, but it's not like hard. It's not Muru hard. And then it's not even like it's not Lotheb hard either. Lotheb is a pretty crazy fight. And like so like Nax had like a bunch of hard bosses sprinkled in, but it has so many bosses that a lot of them are also easy.
I feel like this is a comparison. I don't know, it might be way off, but I feel like Muru feels like current phase Sartharion 2 Drakes up. Maybe not 3 Drakes up, but 2 Drakes up. I feel like it's like that same type of thing. And there's just so much individual, like there's so much target priority for everybody. Like there's like that's what's crazy. It's like, wait, do I go to attack this? And then some people just like
healers, right? Like healers are finally getting to like not just do one thing.
Yeah.
It's
right.
Like, I mean, it's fun for me.
It challenges healers. Whereas I think there's been a number of bosses, even the hard bosses that we fought before. I feel like were only hard because you had to move and get out of things, not because you had to prioritize your healing as much as you're having to do right now, right?
Well,
it
challenges.
You're really having to scrutinize what heal you're using, what rank heal you're using, who you're healing, what spells you're using, what enchants you have. Like this is all stuff that just hasn't been an issue in the past.
No, and it like challenges me to the point. See, all prior to this, I would take off and not drink during raid, during progression, but I was kind of begrudging it, right? But this has been so fun. Like I can't tell you how much fun I had on Thursday night. If you watch stream, you might not think it because I'm not like smiling as much. But I'm sitting there, I'm like, okay, on this one, I'm going to make sure I'm going to have Doom up every time immediately. All right, now I'm going to do this. All right, I could do this a little bit better. I'm sitting there drinking my coffee. I'm like looking at how I could do things better. And it was exciting. It's just what I've been waiting for. Wrath is going to be like this. I can't wait. It's so fun.
It's super interesting because it's definitely the first boss where it's like very hard to point to what's going on that we need help with because there's so much going on. It's a slightly different wipe every time. It's not like, oh, we keep wiping to this part of the fight. It's just like, with Vash, like once we understood the mobs for Vash, it became extremely easy. We could do like infinite waves of trash because like you pick up the Felstrider, it goes this way, like the Naga go this way. Like once we had enough DPS, which we pretty much always have, it just became like a super easy fight. It's just like the last phase was not dying to the poison or whatever. But with Muru, it's like we understand what everything does. We've done it enough that I know more people know what all the mechanics do on Muru than any other fight. Whereas like you can wipe on like Felmis or Twins and be like, what does this do? Like what's Shadow Fury again? With Muru, everyone's like, I know what these things do. We're just losing. We're just straight losing. It's interesting.
Yeah, I know. I keep talking with Pentha, my fellow priest healer now. I finally have another one. And we just like try to figure out different things. And it's like, why isn't this showing up? Or is this showing up for you? Or like, and that's just stuff that, healer chat used to be filled with, memes and fun. And it was great. That was how we kept ourselves entertained from, flash healing the tank the whole time and all of that fun. But it's fun. I think it's exciting. I hope we get Muru down soon, but
Well, we needed like it stinks. And we have bad raid weeks like all the time. It's not weird to have a bad raid week. So like what happened Tuesday was
Especially
not out
after
of
a
the
good one.
ordinary. Exactly. Yeah. We have a really good one, and then we go in super cocky the next week, and we're all just
Yeah, that's
thinking we're gonna have a good Tuesday.
that's pretty much Varg par for the course every phase when we
Yeah.
Yep.
If we have another night where we like destroy those first 4 bosses very quickly, have a good amount of attempts on Muru, I think on that Thursday we can kill Muru pretty decently. I think we just need a little more time, and we just need we need to go to Muru fresh, not coming off of a ton of wipes. There's like all these things that play into it that I think we just need that. But I think it's possible, but dang, is it the hardest boss we have fought, and it's definitely taking the most pulls than any other boss, because pulls can go wrong like immediately.
And what's crazy is there's less people raiding now, right, than there was, throughout. This is the way every expansion goes. The hard one comes out at the end, and people kind of peace out, waiting for the next. And especially so, now that we know that Sunwell gear, like some of it'll be good, but it's not like Nax gear was going into Karazhan. So like the gear upgrades, you're going to replace almost everything on most classes. But that was funny. Willie put out a video yesterday, and he pointed out that in the first two weeks of launch of every raid tier, Sunwell has killed more people, has wiped more raids than the entirety of TBC combined. So
wow, I can see that.
In the first two weeks. So like it's crazy. Like people are
crazy.
wiping a ton, and everybody sees all these progress and all these different people. Just to let you know, they didn't stream PTR, but we know people in the different guilds. They wiped 40 to 50 times before dropping Muru. So even if we wipe another 30 or 40, well, 30. But even if we do we're still, we're not progress,
wipe 30
right?
times and still get it down next week still. So
yeah, I know.
Okay,
so
I'm okay for that.
Yeah, it's a hard raid. That's what I wanted to end on.
Honestly, that's why it doesn't feel bad. It's weird because it's the end and it's sort of like optional. Like there's only so long that we can wipe before people aren't going to want to do it anymore. So like obviously we have some kind of timeline, but everyone realizes like we're not wiping because people aren't paying attention or are being bad. We're wiping because it's hard and we're not used to that level of difficulty of a raid fight.
Yeah, and I think the only thing, I don't want to speak for everybody, the only thing that I'm worried about, the only reason I want to rush, and I would be willing to even come an hour early or stay an hour late and raid, just because I would love to have the feather in my cap, just like we did with SSC and TK, that we did it before nerf, because I'm afraid the nerf will come faster than SSC and TK did.
Yeah, that could be. I'm not actually sure. I feel like that depends on the timelines of everything else they're putting out.
I don't know that they're gonna nerf it.
Oh, we've covered it on the show. They said for sure there's going to be a pre-nerf and post-nerf era of Sunwell. And they said they were going to.
Don't need to, because it's not like my thing is, you don't need the gear from Sunwell.
But they want everybody to see the content before the end.
Well,
I agree with Mel though. Like if they nerf Nax halfway through, it'd be like,
why?
Like. And Sunwell does have a similar prestige that Nax did. Sunwell's probably the last raid. I feel like I'm trying to think of another one. Maybe in like retail, there's another one, like further expansions down that have this like air of like not a lot of people saw it, very hard. Sunwell, more people could like get into it, but it's very hard. Like in TBC, I remember being like, "This is insane." That how hard Sunwell is.
Mm-hmm.
Out there doing it, so there is some prestige to it. It will stink we definitely need to get it all down before there's a nerf, that's for sure.
Yeah, well, I'm just hoping the nerf comes later rather than sooner. Is Basically,
I
all
think
I'm
we'll be
saying.
fine though, and once we have Muru down, I think Kill Jaden's like a week of progress, and then we're good there.
There's
I mean, it
already a
could be
new
more, but
cheese strat came out today from Sarth.
there you go. Cheese it.
Where's our Muru cheese stat? Oh no, we've already
I
got
know.
that. 8 warlocks, got it.
Yeah. We just need more warlocks. That's our cheese strat.
Oh man. All right. Well, do we have anything else to add about Sunwell?
I think that's it. It's hard. It's fun. It's hard. There's not a lot of trash, which I like. The trash isn't that hard, which I like. I'm just glad the bosses are the hard part. That's really
Agreed.
like it doesn't feel that bad. And the gear is really good. Killing 4 bosses is a lot of gear. There's a lot of really good gear that hasn't dropped for us yet, but will. And it'll feel good when we get some of those really omega pieces that people are waiting on.
I'll just take any piece at this point.
I've gotten a couple pieces.
I know you have. You always get a couple pieces fast. We've got Twins dropped every single piece was healer gear.
I know.
And
the Twins hurt me.
Yeah, the Warlock group was complaining. Well, not the Warlock group. Someone was complaining about it. And me and some others were like, well, this is tough on the healers. So like, give them as much as they can have right now. Like,
Forget healers. This is the first time I've been like, I really wish tank stuff would drop ASAP. Before, it's kind of like whatever, maybe more DPS gear is good. But now it's like some of those tank pieces are so good. And we want them on me, Mira, and Gun. It's like, please drop something.
I have 3 pieces. I have my legs, I have my shoulders, I have my boots.
Nice.
Wait,
Do you wear the Caligos legs? Is that what legs they are?
Yeah.
They're like really high crit or something. Nice. Those are cool.
Calming strife.
Nice. All right, well, we're gonna go ahead and move on to time for the news. Well, there's not really any real news. I just wanted to use my bumper, but there is one bit of news. Classic season of Mastery. The AQ gate should be open on all servers now. They've got the bugs worked out on all the different servers. Shout out to Duranosaurus Guild. Why am I stuttering on this? Duranosaurus Guild Balance currently holds the 3rd fastest run on the 2nd hardest difficulty, because remember, you can change the difficulty in AQ. And so the hardest they can't do yet because it's rep capped. So everybody has to have like a certain amount of rep before they can try that one. But wanted to give them a shout out, and that's really it, unless anybody wants to talk about it. Everybody good? Mel, I'm going to need you to come back on camera soon.
I'm going to say that she says no.
I'm good. I don't need to talk about that. Congrats, Tyrannosaur.
Yeah, I like the AQ changes. Those are cool. Other than that, like, I like the difficulty stuff. It's I like that they're getting wild over there in Season of Mastery, and I like it.
Yep. All right.
Bobby, we need to have a talk about this World of Warcraft Classic. Do I look like I know what a WoW token is?
All right, guys. Discussion this week is going to be all talking about the podcast and where it started and all of that. We reached out to our former guests on the show, and I was a little worried that no one was going to send me anything, or I was going to have like 2 or 3 things and be like, But to my surprise, almost every past guest sent us something in. I won't name who didn't, but only about...
It was Yip and I's first question, though.
Only, yeah.
Oh, that's so sweet. Who didn't?
Where's the hit list?
Only 3 people didn't send one in. So I was super happy about that. Thank you to everybody who sent one in. But I thought it would be fun to play these clips live on stream and live on the pod. And thanks to our great guildies, Elizabeth and Liz the Shiz, I was able to test it today to make sure it works and that my co-hosts here can watch it live, real-time reactions and everything. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and set this up.
You guys better cry.
Yeah. I want real tears.
Have you seen any of this, Mel?
Maybe.
Oh, wow.
She
I'm the
has
only one with an honest reaction.
She hasn't. She saw a couple of them when they like first came in, but she has not seen them all. So let me know when you guys are in and you see the.
I see it.
You can watch. Now I need to.
But I am in.
Switch this over. Switch that over. And now I need to change. Sorry, I'm just talking out loud. I have to change the routing on my audio so that you guys hear this. And here we go.
Hi, Jarge here. Congrats on 100 episodes. That's right. 100 episodes of Warcraft Reloaded. Are you gonna have classic Warcraft Reloaded? Are you gonna have Warcraft Reloaded Classic? I want the original Warcraft Reloaded experience redone. Okay, that's what I want. I want Warcraft Reloaded, but I want the classic Warcraft Reloaded. I don't want at 100 episodes. You guys are different. You used to be all about the Warcraft Reload, the original nostalgic experience. But now at 100 episodes, it's all about it's completely different now. Give me the classic Warcraft Reloaded experience. Can you relaunch the Reloaded with episode 1 classic Warcraft Reloaded?
What do you want?
Reloaded.
Steel Wolf and
there you go. That's what I want.
Steel Wolf and Yip back.
Congrats
and
on 100
kick off
episodes,
Mel?
dude. That's awesome.
Come on.
Congrats, Warcraft Reloaded. Bob and Mel on your 100th episode. Me and my dog here wishing you the best and 100 more. Good luck, guys.
What's the
Yo, Chris here to say happy 100th episode of the Warcraft Reloaded, the #1 World of Warcraft podcast in the world. I love it. I love you guys. Thanks for all the love and the support back. I can't wait to see the future of the Lich King content. Stay safe.
Hey guys, Def Camp here. I just want to say happy 100th episode to my friends at Warcraft Reloaded. Guys, that's an amazing achievement. I can't wait to see what's in the store for the future. Good luck, and I love you. God bless.
Hey guys, wanted to say congrats on 100 episodes at Warcraft Reloaded. This is Game Freak, your favorite listener that got to be on the show with you guys. And I just wanted to say thank you for letting me on the show and congrats on 100 episodes. Mel and Bob and Yip, even though Yip's not there. Just want to say thank you for everything you guys do and always be listening, even if I don't play Wrath.
Surprise!
So thanks, guys, and good luck.
Hey there, Bob and Mel. This is Hamsterwheel here, and I just want to wish you guys a big congratulations for your 100th episode on the Warcraft Reloaded podcast. It has been quite a ride. You guys had a lot of guests on, and it's just been so much fun listening to you guys. You make my morning commute or doing work around the house a little bit less mundane with the fun conversations and the tangents and all the topics you guys delve into. So here's to another 100, and I hope you guys find more and more popularity to where eventually you guys become the Joe Rogan of World of Warcraft podcasts. So, guys, once again, congratulations, and have a good one.
Have you guys heard of
Hey, Bob, Mel, and partly Yip, I guess. It's Harsca. Congratulations on 100 episodes of Warcraft Reloaded, and here's to 100 more.
Hey, Bob and Mel, Jordy here wishing you guys a huge congratulations on 100 episodes. That's a massive accomplishment, and I'm honored to have been a guest. See you guys in the next 100.
Hey, Bob, Mel, and Yip, sometimes. This is your good buddy, Naismith. I just want to say congratulations for making it to 100 episodes of a very entertaining podcast. I'm proud to have been a part of 4% of your success. And by that, I mean you dragged me along for entertaining conversations. Thank you very much. And I wish many more episodes like this celebrating milestones for you.
Hey everyone over at Warcraft Reloaded, Josh from Countdown to Classic here, wishing you a very, very huge congratulations on the 100 episodes. I know all the work and dedication that goes into things like this, and trust me, from the bottom of my heart, I just want to say thank you for all that you've done for the community. Please do keep on going. Bob, Mel, Yip, you guys have done amazing work over the time with the show, and here's to many more episodes to come. So have a good one.
Hey everyone, Melderon here. big congrats to Warcraft Reloaded on 100 episodes. That's a huge accomplishment.
Looks like
Thank you for making me part of your family. Keep on it and grinding.
Dude, LA is doing him some
Squeeze
good.
here. Yes, I am in bed. Yes, I am ill. But that weren't going to stop me from saying congratulations to you guys for 100 episodes. Having done podcasts in the past and currently doing one now, I'm bored after 3 episodes. How you've kept it going for 100 is absolutely amazing. Thanks for having me on. I hope you'll have me on again soon once I've got rid of this man flu and can actually get some alcohol down into it. I think that's what it is. I've not been drinking. I think the alcohol, that's the problem. It's deprivation. I need some. I'll try it, and hopefully I'll be back on my feet soon. But congratulations again, guys. Much love. Chat soon.
All right, Bob, thanks for having me on the show. Ciao.
Hey, what's up, guys? Salve Dally here, and just wanted to congratulate you guys on 100 episodes of Warcraft Reloaded. Personally, I'm looking forward to the 1000th episode of Warcraft Reloaded when we hopefully get to celebrate the release of the game we started playing 15 years ago as children. Classic squared, perhaps. And hopefully that means that in 10 years from now, we will not have found any sort of better video games, and we can continue to be the man and women children that we all are. So until we get to that point, keep up the weekly grind, guys, and hopefully I'll see you then.
Hey, guys. Kim Jong-un here. Well, I'm Jong-un now, but I just wanted to say congratulations on your 100th episode, and keep it pumping, guys. I'll see you in Raid.
Thanks, Kim.
Hey, Bob and Melissa. Huge congrats on 100 episodes of Warcraft Reloaded. Very, very proud of you. Also, shout out to all the amazing guests. You know who we're talking about.
Hey, it's Snow. Congratulations, Warcraft Reloaded, on 100 episodes of podcasting. That's a big milestone. Speaking from one podcaster to another, congratulations, guys. And I wish you guys the best for the future of your podcast.
Yo, what's up, guys? It's Ruggs. I just want to give a huge shout out to Bob and Mel over at Warcraft Reloaded. 100 episodes. Y'all fucking did it, dude. Congrats. I will see you guys in Northern. Keep killing it.
Warcraft Reloaded. Was it any good, though? Well, you've made it to 100 episodes, so I'm going to have to go ahead and say yes.
That's cute.
Hey, it's Tyrannosaur. I just wanted to say a big congratulations to the Warcraft Reloaded team. Bob, Mel, and even Yip. I know that he may not be there for the 100th episode, but he was a phenomenal and informational piece of the Warcraft Reloaded squad. So big congratulations to all of you guys. It has been an absolute pleasure to be on the show as many times as I have, and especially starting out. It was maybe one of the first podcasts that I was on as like a World of Warcraft content creator, and it has only made me appreciate the Warcraft Reloaded team, Bob and Mel and Yip, that much more, to know that they were willing to take a chance on someone like me and let me, talk for extended periods of time about things that I may or may not know about. But they are just a phenomenal group of people, always looking to learn, to share, and to, just have open conversation and entertain. Because they are. It's a phenomenal podcast. And 100 episodes strong only proves that, as well as the, countless number of people who are listening, who are commenting, liking, and just showing their support. So again, congratulations, you guys. Stay classy, stay funny, and most of all, stay reloaded.
And check out Rested XP
Have a good
Gold
one.
Guide and use code Tyrannosaur.
Happy hunting.
Hey guys, it's Winky here. Just stopping in to say congratulations to Warcraft Reloaded for their 100th episode. Takes a lot of work, takes a lot of dedication. I'm proud of you guys. Also, good job getting rid of Yip.
Hi, George here. Congrats on 100 episodes.
Oh, man.
Oh, that was great.
My face hurts
that
from
was a lot
smiling.
of people.
I know.
Right?
That was, dude,
heck?
it's it felt so amazing to have so much love from people.
Can we just talk about, I have a couple things here that I need to talk about.
Yeah, okay, let's go through it. Let's roast them, Mel. Let's go.
No, I think I want to talk about the shirt that blended in with the carpet.
I know. No hit Jerome.
Can we see this no hit Jerome? Can we see a screenshot of this again? Because I feel like I loved it.
Here, hold on.
I don't know why so many people took videos laying down. I feel like that was a compliment. Somehow. I don't know how I'm going to phrase that, but
it's because the last thing that people think of before they go to sleep is us, and when they wake up,
see, it's us.
How many more days till the next Warcraft Reloaded?
So let's.
Yeah. See?
And okay, and
we're back.
Okay, so the I don't know why the quality is like this. He added. I just added everybody's. If they were a YouTuber, their YouTube, or if they were a streamer, their Twitch. But he added the. I don't know why the quality is like this.
I think the quality is like that, no hit Jerome, because they don't know where to focus, because they're very confused.
Do you think he's filming this with his feet?
What?
Do you think he's filming this with his feet?
Oh my God, you were exactly right.
His arms are like up.
He's filming it with his feet laying down. You were exactly right. Oh my God, throwback. Oh my God, that's hilarious.
I love it. And can we also just talk about the Salve Dali, where like he comes on with just like this like Insta radio voice, right? Like everybody's like, hey, and then he's like, hello. And it's just like totally like, it's crazy.
Too professional. Dang professional.
And then Scotty J, the trooper, sick.
I know.
But still sending it from bed. I thought that was great.
Metagoblin disagrees that he is sick. He says he was just hungover. Not ill.
Speaking of
what's the difference?
Metagoblin. Thanks, Bob, for having me on. Ciao.
Bye.
It was great.
You're so much more chatty in your YouTube videos.
Oh, Duranosaur said, and even Yip, but did you guys hear the compliment after that?
Yeah, that was very sweet.
No, I didn't hear that. You don't have to play that again, though. You could just move on.
He was a very strong and informative part of the podcast that is much missed.
Yeah. Well, the other thing I wanted to talk about was that I think Winky had a master plan to get Yip off the show, right? Like it's very obvious from that last statement and then his nomination at the beginning of the show, right? Like I think we've got some conspiracies going here.
Who wrote that email in?
Yeah, working together,
Okay,
Winkle.
Winkles.
Okay, I'm gonna have to disagree with chat. Okay, Metagoblin is in chat. And he claims that the Britbongs aren't as chatty like you Americans. And I just have to say, have you met Scotty J?
Yes, he has.
He says chatty. He is chatty.
Well,
you know this. Maybe he's an outlier.
We're not talking about footballers all the time, You got to talk about footballers and football clubs. And pubs.
Hey, I have seen Green Street hooligans. I know exactly how all that works, right?
Okay, small tangent. I started watching Ted Lasso, which is like an American football coach becomes a coach of a popular soccer team. It really makes me want to watch soccer.
Dude, that's been on our short list forever.
Been on our list forever, and we just haven't gotten there yet. It never seems like the most enticing show to watch.
I know. I was the same way. It's actually really good.
I've heard it's really good.
We've went to a couple Sporting KC. I think they're actually called by a different name now, but Sporting KC here in Kansas City. And those soccer games are out of this world. Like they've got chants, they've got songs.
Yeah,
like everybody's going crazy. Yeah. After you win, everybody's really singing at the end. It was so cool.
Yeah, I didn't even really like soccer, but the game was fun.
Yeah. I feel that I don't know, maybe because I'm not into any sports, but I feel like there's not the same camaraderie. People are way more fickle in America, but over there, they're getting into serious fights. they're really into whatever club that they support. And my last comment on this is that British people are the ones who invented the term soccer. All right, that's it. They called it soccer first. We took it from them because we were British. It's not our fault.
It's not
They called it soccer. They just changed it up, and now they make fun of us for it.
Well, thank you to everybody. I really, really appreciate all of that.
Can we talk about Crix doing, I think he's gardening, but he was having a good time when he made this video as well.
Yeah.
He's going to wake up ill tomorrow, too.
I like his headband.
Right?
Oh, man. Everything's great. Yeah. Ale sent me one where he was doing the fat face thing, but I didn't end up using it. But I almost did. But everybody sent one in. It was so nice. I mean, Harskar.
Yeah, that was very nice. Harskar is very funny. I'm glad
he even shows
like do that.
I just told him like, hey, he didn't want his face, so I said, hey, just give me audio, and I put I would have just put something there. But he was like, I'll just do something in game, and he sent this to me, and it was great that the gnome was talking while he was talking. I thought that was hilarious.
It's actually, I don't think I've seen the real Harskar until like a couple months ago, or like a month or two ago. Because
I've never seen the real Harskar.
No, sorry. I mean the gnome. He was always like in a deviant delight for the longest time, or like he was always using something that made him not look like a gnome. And I saw him once, and I was like, "You're like a pigtails, and you're like a gnome. What the hell is going on here?" Like he just wants to show off his war glaives.
Yeah,
that's what this is really about. GM privilege.
But yeah, everybody was really so nice. Yeah, everybody was so nice. And thanks to everybody.
I'm gonna make people do that for me on my next birthday. Be like, hey, make a quick video saying nice stuff about me. Thanks.
Right. I was gonna say, listen, if I feel like I'm much more PR than Bob, because Bob asked for like shout outs. I feel like if I was in charge of this project, I would have been like, hey, do you guys want to shout out your podcast on our 100th episode? Because
that's why
I want to ask you to be nice to me.
Well, that's why I took the time to put all of their links in there, just like an extra like thank you, And so yeah, I don't know. I was blown away by everything. Dinosaur went above and beyond with his like long one, and like it would like all of them were just amazing, and I just thank everybody so much, and it really yeah, I'm gonna stop talking about
it. Yeah, and feel free you can check out the list of all the podcasts. They all say who they're featuring. Feel free to cross-reference, guys, and figure out that small list of people who let us all down. Just we won't say anything, but very easy to find.
Just saying. The information's out there.
Hamster also left a nice comment on my YouTube video recently.
Nice.
Someone had to have shouted out my video or something too.
Oh, we did on the podcast, and Hamster Wheel was on the podcast.
Yeah, but the timing doesn't make sense, I don't think. But because like just yesterday, like a lot of people watched it, and I was like, why?
Yeah.
Hello. I don't mind. Hey, watch it. Check them out.
It could be that they just finally got around to it. I don't know. I have no idea.
Well, it's very sweet. All the people that we've met have been a very nice benefit to the podcast.
Oh God, yeah,
being a part of the really great people.
Just getting to learn from them. Like this podcast has been so cool. Just being able to like bring on different perspectives, disagree but still have fun. Like this podcast has been amazing, and we've had so many guests. And it's just like the content creators in the WoW Classic space, at least right now. I heard there was lots of beefs before Classic came out, but I wasn't a Classic content creator then. Since I've been doing it since the start of this, everybody's been so like welcoming, helpful. It's been a really fun ride. Like,
everyone's cool too, like outside of the game. We usually like talk to people for a few minutes before and after, and everyone's been like very interesting and cool. a lot of guys in this community also work a real job and stuff too. So like they have a lot of like perspective and interesting things to say about what they do. So it's really cool talking to a lot of these people.
Yeah, and I mean sometimes we've had like 45-minute conversations with different guests after the podcast ends, and it's about other stuff like different games or like real life stuff or like
where the best barbecue in Kansas City is.
Yeah,
I know we've already did a 3-hour show and then now it's another hour. Like, feel free.
But like everybody's just so like-minded in the content creator space that like they just like, dude, I want to hang out with nerds like you guys. Like it's been, that part's just been a blast. And so I don't know, where should we start about talking about how, should we start with like talking about how the podcast came about?
Do it, Bob.
Sure, you guys talk about that while I go to the bathroom.
All right, so I was doing a podcast. I'd done multiple podcasts on Overwatch. I started podcasting at Overwatch. Jaw, the guy that runs Mash Those Buttons, I was listening to his podcast. They said, hey, we might be looking for a third host, but we want the right host. So I, of course, wrote him a book and told him how, like, you know, my background, everything, like, and how I'd always wanted to be a podcaster, but I have kind of a stutter. And he like interviewed me, he brought me on, and I started doing Watchpoint Radio with him. Doing podcasting actually improved my stutter almost like you wouldn't believe how I talked prior to doing podcasts. I actually discovered that I was talking with my lungs my entire life instead of my throat. I was talking like this my entire life. I was trying to talk like this, running out of air. Podcasting and listening to myself back, I actually learned that, and it, you know, I still have, you know, problems from time to time, but I've learned how to actually speak pretty much normally because of podcasts. So I went on to do Prepare to Attack with Jaw. That was a thing where we brought on GM players of different classes, and we interviewed them and told people how to play each class and did a different. It was like a series that we ended after we did all the classes. Then I went on to do my own thing and did the Overwatch League recap. And that was when the Overwatch League started. And I started that with a bunch of other guys, but it ended up just being me and Mel in the end. So I started Classic, and the Overwatch League was kind of sucking. Like, they were changing rules and everything, and I just wasn't into watching every game every week, because that's what you had to do to actually be competent on a podcast talking about who should have won, who should have lost, different things. You had to watch everything, and I was just playing Classic WoW all the time. So I was dying to get content, and there was a few podcasts like Good Morning Azeroth was amazing. Warcraft Brew was amazing. Loved it. Like there were podcasts. There were like S-Fan podcasts, but they would only be like 3 or 4 episodes, you know, like prior to the game coming out. And then they were just streaming the game. I wanted more podcasts. So I was like, fuck it. I'm going to quit doing the Al recap, and I'm going to make a Warcraft Classic pod. We had this crazy zany dude in our guild named Steel Wolf that I just was like, you're entertaining and I think you would be funny. Let's start a podcast. And he was like, yeah, let's do it. So we did episode 0. And then
Steel Wolf was always like, yeah, let's do it.
And then we told the guild, you know, Varg Flocken, that we were doing this. And I get a whisper from Yip during raid that night. I hadn't talked to Yip a ton. You know, he'd asked me to come to like different ZGs.
Just normal guildies. We were definitely not like friends beforehand or anything.
Yeah.
We're guildies. And I think it might have still been the time that warriors were still a little competitive with each other, you know? Like there was a time where it's like you don't want to you got like the rivalry. Yeah, we got the rivalry going on. Whenever Perky's was still there, there was always like a warrior rivalry.
Yeah, I mean he definitely kind of pushed that whole narrative too. While he talked to everybody and made sure he was cool with each warrior, but got the warriors against each other. Smart man, that Perky's. But yeah, so Yips like, hey dude, I've always wanted to do a podcast or something like that, content creation. You need a third host? And I was like, and I've always thought that 3 hosts is great for a pod. Like I really like 3 hosts. 2,
Bob has to pee so frequently that he likes having somebody else to be able to talk to somebody else when he's gone.
Definitely does, because I did Watch Point Radio with just me and John. It worked really well, but I enjoyed it when we brought on a third host, and I thought it was just perfect. So I was like, well, I don't know how well, you know, like I'd heard him in Raid talking and stuff, but not much because he wasn't an officer at that time. And so I was like, okay, well, let's just talk tomorrow and we'll go from there. And so I talked to Yip for, I don't know, what was it, 45 minutes, an hour, about just
something like that.
Yeah, my background. You talked about yours. You had all the right equipment, like all the the nice mic, everything, and you were so well spoken. I was like, well, yeah, hell yeah, let's do it. And so.
Yeah, I've been a content creator wannabe since I discovered you could create video game content. I remember being like, I remember seeing Call of Duty videos my junior year of high school where someone just commentated over their gameplay, and I was like, you can just do that? I was like, oh my god! And I bought a capture card and a microphone, and I'm like, so here's how you win on this map. I was really into it.
Well. Yeah, and I wasn't really expecting anything really. Like I was just, like we're just gonna have a good time talking about stuff. But immediately in episode 1, I was like, "Woo! I just struck gold with another another co-host." And at that time, I felt it was great because we had Yip, who was very knowledgeable and really well spoken. And then we had me, which was just, me. I do the hosting thing because, smooth brain, it just gives me something to do.
Guys. He does it good. He does it shockingly well. The fact that handwritten notes, I mean, he writes out he does all the research, all the notes. Bob is a champion of the podcast.
But yeah, then we had Steel with the wild and zany guy that was like, we call it the Grooge. He's also the one that did our beatbox intro and the add-on of the week bumper, and and so it was going great for a few weeks, and then Steel Wolf found League of Legends, and Steel Wolf just stopped showing up to the podcast, and he stopped showing up to Raid too.
Yeah, and Raid.
Pretty much just he was just like, we love him to death, but he was just out, right? And so then I don't know, Mel, you want to talk about how I talked to you? We got Mel on. I mean, it was I think just episode 4 or 5, maybe, right?
Episode 9, I think.
9, okay.
Which is funny because at the time that felt like we had been doing it for a long time.
I know.
I mean, you guys had done it for 8 weeks.
Yeah, which felt to me, I was like, wow, we've been doing this for a while. And we're going to change things up. Crazy.
Oh. Well, and then, okay, well, so first off, before I asked Mel, I was like, yep. So I want to bring Mel on. And I was like, I'm telling you, she's good. She's done her own. I'm going to let you tell your story about you starting at podcasting before you tell the rest. But I was like, she's done stuff. She's ran her own podcast. I mean, I think she could, I think she'd be a really good addition. And I mean, I think it would be great. And so Yip was like, oh, okay. Yeah. And he was just kind of well, It felt like he was like, I don't know if this is a good idea. Well, because Mel never talked during raid.
Yeah, Mel was very quiet during raid, but I had seen the like Overwatch stuff that you guys had done.
Oh, okay.
So it's not like I didn't know that you guys couldn't do it or anything. Yeah, well, yeah, I was just like, yeah, I mean, yeah.
All right, so Mel, why don't you tell where you started in podcasting? Because you started just like, I don't know, a few months after I started, and then go into you joining the cast.
Super into like getting on a podcast, right? And I was like super not.
Okay, this was before I joined Bash Those Buttons.
Yeah. So we guested on this Overwatch podcast that these other people did, and
the cavalry.
Yeah. But I played Hearthstone pretty much the whole time. There was like 5 people on the podcast, and Bob was like, "You didn't really talk much." And I was like, "Well, there's 5 people. What are you like? I'm not going to interrupt." Obviously, I've gotten over this fear of interrupting, so that's no longer an issue. But and then they we had talked to them and played with them afterwards, and then they needed an extra host. They only had one person that was available, and they needed somebody else. And Bob was like, "Well, Mel will probably do it." And they were like, "Okay." And because the last time I was on there, I said like maybe a total of 25 words. And so then I go on, and like we have this really good like interactive show, and like it was really great conversation, and like we stopped recording, and the guy Slambo of the show was like, "Wow, I did not have high expectations for this." And I was like, "Well, that's cool, I guess." Were you pleasantly surprised, I hope? And then I joined that show, and then I took that show over. They left for other things. And then I was just kind of done with that and Overwatch, really. I did Our Recap with Bob, and that was a lot of fun. We got to travel and go to different Overwatch League events. And that was a lot of fun. And then, so then Bob's like, "Hey, Bob was like, "Hey, I'm going to play WoW Classic." And I was like, "That's fun. Have fun. I'm going to be over here doing anything but that." And then I said, and then he's like, "Come on, Mel." And he begged me for like weeks and weeks. And I was like, "Fine."
It was only 2. You started 2 weeks after launch.
Whatever. I felt like it held out for months. Okay. So I started, and then he's like, "I'm going to do this podcast." And I was like, "Yeah, I'm not going to do that." And he's like, "Well, I didn't ask you to do that." And I was like, "Good." And so then he started it, and then Steel Wolf leaves. And then he comes and he says, "Hey, Mel, so I know you didn't really want to commit to the time and things, but we're going to do every other week. And it's like an hour show every other week. And that's all you've got to do. I'll do the notes. I'll do everything else. All you have to do is one show every other week."
That's why it felt long, Yip, because we started out doing one show every other week.
Oh, yep. That must be it. So it wasn't 8 weeks. It was like 16 weeks.
Weeks. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So
an hour show every other week.
Yep.
Guys.
And quickly realizes that this 1 hour show every other week turned into a 3 hour show every week. But it was a lot of fun.
As somebody who had done podcasts, the chemistry we had just blew up into that. It made itself. All of a sudden, we were like, we should do every week. And then all of a sudden, we're like, damn, these are running long. And Jaw was like, you guys really should, you should release these in 2 different segments and everything. But then we just decided, we're just going to do the episode until we're done talking. And then we'll just, we'll just do that.
That's not true. We did cut ourselves off many of times on our 3 hour episodes.
Yeah, we do say, all right, it's time.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's time to finish.
I mean, I tried to move us on at times, but oftentimes I'd move us on at the wrong time. And then that was the thing I learned as a host too. While editing, I was like, fuck, man, why did I stop it there? That was really good. I should have we could have talked about the next thing later, or next week. It was a lot of learning, what to cut off and what not to cut off too. So
yeah, that was pretty much it. And here I am.
Yeah, so then we didn't really have we started out with like a basic show format. I knew we wanted to do news. We didn't really talk about a whole ton about what we did in game or.
Oh wait, can I start with this because your guys' show notes? First of all, I did our show notes for our recap, and I'm a little bit like very OCD. Like they had visual graphics. They were very pretty. And I get on and Bob like shares the show notes, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like, this is like 3 bullet points and links to articles I need to read.
Okay, my bullet points are okay.
They have gotten better.
Okay, yeah, well, I mean, yeah, maybe. Like this was the first time I'd really made show notes, so I was definitely building upon it.
I know, I was just messing with you though.
But yeah, we didn't really know about the format, and I was just kind of taking the format that Watchpoint Radio had. And Jaw used to do a thing where at the end he'd do discussion and he'd search out something like on like forums or different things to like get the content for the discussion. But I just had different things I wanted to talk about in discussion, and I just kind of would throw those different things in, and it seemed to work out. But then, like episode 6, so what kind of started putting us on the map, right? Like the first time was I just cold DM'd Salv Dally, like, and wrote him this long thing about my history in podcasting, starting a new classic podcast, asked him to come on the show, and he said yes. And I was like, okay, sweet. So then that's when I thought about, well, when a new guest comes on, we'll do a discussion section at the end, and that'll be an interview of that content creator, because I'm always curious about where these guys came from. I see their videos and their streams and stuff, but like I'm curious like where they came from, what they like, what their favorite stuff is, and like I thought it was cool, so I didn't know if anybody else would, but it turned out people did. And that was a fun part, so that made it easier to find discussion topics when we didn't have a new guest on. But it also put us on the map to start getting us more guests. Because I was like, well, we just had Salv Dally on. Would you like to come on? And then all of a sudden, get enough guests, and then everybody's coming on. Like, and it was really cool to put us on the map.
Salv Dally gave us the clout.
It's basically called growth hacking, is what we said.
We bought followers and then sold them.
Well, and it's just crazy because all of a sudden, Warcraft. Well, this wasn't then. Like the show kept going on. So like we did eventually. Like I don't know what. Would you even remember what episode it was when we first hit the iTunes top 200 gaming podcasts? Might have been like the 30s or the 20s, maybe. I don't. Yeah,
I literally could not tell you in the slightest.
Yeah, well, not to jump ahead, but I had never hit that. But jumping back, then there were still like things like Yip came up with a thing. Like, where did you even come up with the add-on of the week?
I think pretty early. I might have mentioned it when Steel Wolf was even still there, just because it felt like we needed. Well, it's interesting because with Steel Wolf, you and me, although Steel Wolf was very manic, I felt like we weren't getting into the in-depth conversations. And I felt like we were actually kind of not struggling to make an hour, but struggling to make like a really good long piece of content. And I figured some sections would help with that. And I was like, add-ons are really easy. when I was a young man on YouTube, I would make like add-on videos that people actually liked for some reason. So I was like, if people like a video where you just tell them what an add-on is, then I'm sure they would like it on the podcast where we just tell them what an add-on is and if it's good or not.
Well, and oh shoot, I just lost my train of thought. It had to have been when Steel Wolf was still here because he made the add-on of the week bumper for us.
Yep, that makes sense.
Yeah, and so that went on amazingly, and we actually guested on Realm Maintenance podcast and got interviewed about. That was right after we hit the top 200. We got interviewed, but Ro specifically asked us that I just know that because Ro mentioned it on our guest spot to realm maintenance. So it was like,
yeah, well, didn't we make a bunch of predictions for like a New Year's thing for realm maintenance?
We did, but okay, so Ro quit doing WoW content after all of the stuff came out, and he didn't put it out this year, which pisses me off because remember my Overwatch prediction?
Was it exactly correct?
Overwatch goes 5v5 in Overwatch 2, and everybody was like, "Whoa, no!" I was waiting all year for that to come out because I was like, "Dude, I'm right here," and like I was so right way before anybody said it. Like, I mean, yeah, but
I was definitely confident about some of the things on that. Yeah, I was wondering. I was like, why did I never think of following up with how right we were on our predictions? That makes sense then.
Yeah, it was a total bummer, and he said he was still going to do it. But I guess he lost half of the people's stuff. And so he did. And it was a bummer because every year he'd do those. And it was like a 6-episode series. It was really neat. But it's a bummer he didn't end up doing that. But yeah, we guessed it on there. And Rose specifically asked about the add-on of the week part because he was a retail player. And he felt that classic players didn't believe in add-ons. And we were like, whoa, no. You got it all wrong.
I had add-ons even back in vanilla.
That's Bob's favorite talking point. Like, no, we were using DPS meters.
2 weeks in. 2 weeks in.
Right. Just because you're a child who wasn't using add-ons.
Exactly
true. We were playing at the elite levels back then, all right? We had add-ons.
Oh, man. But yeah.
I mean, but even I had a DPS meter, though. Like, I didn't know anything about... Like, I was a total noob, but I had a DPS meter. I knew I was doing poorly.
I knew I wasn't on there.
Yeah, it was like that. I probably have said this before, but I remember when a level 58 hunter was beating me in a upper Blackrock Spire when I had been 60 for like 6 months, and I was just like, oh my god, I'm so bad at this game.
Oh, that's good. That's good stuff. But yeah, and so then, like, going on the timeline, then we started just, we had talked about what we'd been doing each week. We talked about what new items we got and stuff, which got definitely better when Mel came on and when Yips switched to tank. Because when we first started, it was just 3 Fury Warriors.
3 Fury Warrior, like, trying to cover, like, it was cringy at times where it's like, guys, there is a whole other aspect of the game happening at that point. You realize
I mean,
right?
we would get into the weeds about like when to death wish, and it's just like like this is all like we're just because we're just talking about WoW. Like most of these podcasts, we're just talking about WoW. We haven't like pre-wrote down our ideas we're going to talk about. Right. So like our tangents would always just get very warrior focused because all 3 of us are Fury Warriors. Like, of course.
Yeah, but then we were trying to figure it out prior to the podcast. Then all of a sudden, I think it was the start of Nax. Like we had talked about here and there different raid stuff, but I think at the start of Nax, everybody like wasn't dropping everything immediately, and so all of a sudden, Yips just like, hey, I'd like to talk about raid this week, and immediately the raid progression, we just never thought anybody would care about a sweaty casual or a semi-hardcore guild progression. But we turned out, and I mean, it's probably in a big part to the way Yip conveys it, because I don't know if it's actually a good section without Yip here now, but the way Yip tells it and does the storytelling made that one of the most popular sections of the show. And it just, we got so much feedback and different people writing in.
It would not have been what it was unless I was here to defend the healers.
Well, that definitely helped. Yeah.
Recap of the whole events that went down.
Yeah, I mean, Yip as the basically the narrator, but like us chiming in definitely helped. Like really with the 3 different classes, we just kind of got like not classes, but 3 different roles. We just kind of got lucky there. And it just turned into a really good section that became huge. And we thought that would be the most boring part for everybody.
Yeah, I mean, especially for how long our progression in Nax was, no offense to us, but it was like 2 months plus of us like talking about bosses. But I think what was surprising was that the people who were way better than us also enjoyed listening to it because they were like, we didn't progress, we just killed it all really quick.
Like, it's so interesting to see how other people go through that content.
Yeah,
and it's difficult.
Yeah, wow, it's fun to pretend the game's difficult by listening to you guys. That's what but they were saying that less condescendingly, and they did like it, so it kind of worked on both ends. We thought people would get bored, like, wow, they're still on Vash or something like that, but like, no, it was good.
And
there's more people going through the same struggles like we were than not.
Yeah,
you know?
Sure.
And Jasmine the Druid in chat, you can keep your fake news to yourself. I have never talked bad on the Varg healers ever. Knows. Like, I kiss ass on healers. He is married to a
Varg healer, so he's very aware of the repercussions that can occur.
Do not spread that false narrative.
If you say things like Winky did on the last episode, my whole thing is that Winky was like, healers, great job healing, you did your job, right? And I feel like the people that say that, and this is to you, Winky, the people that say that are the people that die frequently. So they get frustrated with the healers, but they die frequently because they talk shit on the healers. And so we're like, oh, I could heal.
Executive.
Nah, never mind.
Sorry, I had something in my throat. Sorry. But yeah, that's definitely didn't... It's never been me. I've always been a tip your healers type of guy. I've been that way all through, even when I was a dick early in original vanilla. I was still always tipping the healers. But yeah,
He's still dating a healer, so
So yeah, that blew up. Like, there were different things. We had help from the guild on bumpers. Like, I wanted to have bumpers for the different sections. A lot of podcasts don't do this, but I always like bumpers, damn it. And so I did the whole news one. Believe it or not, that's me saying time for the news. Time for the news. Like, but yeah, that's me. And then we had this guy Bradshaw in guild that would always do Hank Hill. And so I reached out to Bradshaw. I was like, hey, can you do something where you just do Hank Hill? Hey, Bobby, we got to talk about this World of Warcraft Classic. But that was it, right? And then I tell Yip this, and Yip's like, no. So give more context. And I know he still listens to the show because he wrote in and said he was sorry for his we got a bad review early on, and it was when we talked about the WoW token early on, and I had no idea how it worked. And Yips Yips tried to explain it to my smooth brain, and I'm not getting it. And like he wrote in with like a 2-star or a 3-star review. Was like, I couldn't handle these guys talking about the coin, and we talked about it the next week and everything, and then he actually changed his to a 5-star. So it was great. But then
we need to talk about this.
Hold on. Let me finish. So the bumper, I told Yip, and he's like, no, dude, have him do, damn it, Bobby, we need to talk about this World of Warcraft Classic. And Yip was like, and then at the end, have him go, do I look like I know what a WoW token is? And I was like, that's brilliant. So I sent it to him. He did one take, sent it to me back. I was like, perfect. And that's been our discussion bumper since.
Yeah, and I kind of want to see if Bob knows what a WoW token is yet, but I feel like he does. But it was so funny because
got through to him.
I was like questioning my sanity in that conversation because there was such a big disconnect between me and Bob. I was like, Bob keeps adding in this other part that makes me think. I'm like, wait, no, that I can't even remember like exactly.
He was like, you have to buy the token and trade it in, but you can trade the token, or like there was this whole
it was very overcomplicated in Bob's mind, but it's very simple. And but it was funny. I just like, no, Bob, it doesn't. You just buy a token, you sell it for gold. You buy time in a token and you sell it, and that's it.
Oh,
yeah, I mean, wow. Where are we at with the WoW token? Do we want that in, or what? What's the podcast opinion on that bad boy?
If it's in, I will buy it, but it'll be bad because it'll be bad though, because then I'll just buy it and do GDKPs all the time. And yes, I'll have gear, but I'll have less money.
Yeah, it's way less fun when your gear has a monetary value tied to it.
Yeah, like when I go to a GDKP, I'm bidding the gold that I've made, and I'm like,
yeah,
do I want to do that? But if the wild token was here, I'd be like, okay, well, looks like I'm gonna be okay.
Yeah,
yep, got it.
I feel like I would need to take Bob off the bank account if the WoW token came out, right? Because I feel like I would be a new like Clash of Clans where I had to like bring the credit card statement to him in an Excel sheet and say, "This is how much per month you're spending on this stupid effing game." And he was like, "What?"
I would have to have a some sort of allowance, or some sort
you'd
of
have a budget.
Budget,
and
yeah.
it would like cut you off. It's like, you cannot spend money on this. It will not allow. I don't care how much you've had to drink. I don't care how much time it's cost. The bank is cutting you off.
It's like, and she like sets up the account so it just cuts off Blizzard from charging.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I wonder if I can get this charge in before my subscription fee goes on next month.
God.
Yeah, I would min-max it. But so that's how that's how the bumpers got made, and it's been really cool. The past few weeks having them like live. Like I told everybody I would put more work into the live show and the YouTube if the YouTube ever showed any promise, and the YouTube's been like getting, some of the videos are getting 1.5K now, which is, like, it's like another, 10th of our, like, it's a 10th growth of our audio listenership. So I put my money where my mouth was, got a Go XLR Stream Deck, and got all of it running. It's what helped me actually play the video of everybody congratulating us tonight. So it's been a good growth. But yeah, so then the last thing was like when we did start live streaming, like we started the podcast, we were just planning to be audio only, and then this kind of leads into Yips' next thing and trials and tribulations of how we tried to get the word out about the pod. Yip, we'll talk about why we started on YouTube after you talk about our entry into Reddit.
Yeah, so I used to, like I said, I'm a wannabe content creator. So I used to use Reddit to like promote my stuff like crazy, like Diablo video. I got a Diablo video with like 200K views that are all just from Reddit and stuff. And I'm like, well, this is obviously going to be a good way to do this too. Well, people don't like podcasts as much as they like short clickbait videos. I feel like back in the day, I would get some. The only hate I would get is like, it's such a clickbait video you're making for money, and it's like, well,
yep, it worked.
Well, what do you want from me? But with a podcast, it's like you're not making. We like it's funny to see someone say something like that for a podcast because it's like we have not made a career out of this. This is like our thoughts on it. But
this
someone
isn't
would
guides.
Post, like,
this is ancillary content.
Yeah, so we have people like one that you pointed out in our first video, which we called, or not first video, but one of the Reddit posts we made, there was a title called like is Classic WoW dying? And the reason it was called that is because we were calling out other content creators for making is Classic WoW dying content. But
and
everyone on Reddit
Classic
just reads
WoW
the headline.
Yeah, and they were making ones Classic WoW is dying, and we were just like talking about, is it really?
Yeah, that was our topic. But because people don't listen to like a 3-hour podcast, they just see the title and get enraged. There's 125 comments on that of people just arguing, and none of them watch the podcast.
None of them
listen
to it.
Yeah, they're all just like, these idiots. You're not like, everyone's trying to make a career off saying WoW's dying, and it's like, first of all, no, this is not a YouTube video with ads on it. This is like a podcast you can listen to on SoundCloud.
Completely free. Yeah, completely free. We don't play ads during. We're taking on the notion of maybe doing some ads in the future, but we still haven't done it.
Yeah. And then secondly, we're calling out the behavior you don't like already. It's just funny. That was like a quick awakening to like, okay, people are only going to read the title.
Right.
So we need to post based on that. But it's actually funny. We had so many hate comments early on of people calling us idiots, especially like whenever we talk about like early on, there's so much discussion of private server stuff, and none of us had really played a ton of private server. Yeah. So people would talk about that and say we're idiots. We would mention private servers and they'd say that people on private servers are idiots. Like there was always a fight going on on Reddit, which is funny. But even this is what's so funny to me. This happened 2 months ago. I might have even talked about this on the podcast.
You did.
Someone just asked. Yeah, it was just Benediction versus Grobulus.
Yep.
I was just posting as myself, giving an answer. Like I wasn't like representing the podcast. I was just like, hey, yeah, we went to Benediction, and if you look at like Grobulus data, like it looks like it could be heading the same way as Whitemane. And someone's like, please stop using your podcast to be a doomsayer about Grobulus. Like I'm getting like downvoted. People are yelling at me, and I'm like, dude, all I did was answer
that part. Kind of sucks because we have turned into. I mean, like it's crazy because daily I get tells, and thank you guys. Don't stop sending them. I love them. You pump me up and like make me really feel like I am doing something. But I get tells, and I mean it's all the time. Like you have become a face of the community, whether you like it or not. You know, like I mean,
now
like we didn't really think about that going into it. You know,
Justin Timberlake part of the podcast, or if you want to be one of those other guys part of the podcast. You know, I'm
a Lance Bass personally. Dang. But yeah, I mean, I stopped. I mean, we did a lot on Reddit, but I stopped a lot as well too. People are so sketchy on Reddit about promotion. It's like a big problem, I feel like. But I feel like, I don't know, a 3-hour podcast, I feel like is worth posting. That's my, some people will post a video that's like, I'll criticize my own content. I made an add-on video, and it's like, yeah, if I posted that, I can see how someone would be like, shut up, idiot. Like, like, don't post this on Reddit. Like, who cares what add-ons you're using? But it's like, this is a thing we put a lot of effort into. This is 3 hours of conversation about.
Well, and we also, like, we didn't do it every week. We often did it when we had
once every third week or a guest.
Yeah, or like a new guest or something. And we thought it would be interesting to people that were fans of them and stuff,
Yeah, we actually got the opposite. It was pretty funny. Man, I love Saab Dali.
Me too.
But he was a divisive post on Reddit. That first one, I was like, "Oh, we're gonna get a lot of traction." And I posted, and people were like, "I hate this guy," and it's like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah, I know.
But not from the podcast, but from his streams and stuff. And it's like, what is going on with this community?
How could you hate this guy? Like, what are you talking about?
It's just pretty funny how people were so serious on Reddit. That was like the big takeaway. Very angry. A lot of angry people on Reddit.
Angry people that did not listen to the content.
Yeah,
that
which is like
way, right?
Yeah, and it's like I'm not blaming those people. I'm more blaming us. We just learned what that is like. It was like, oh, no one's gonna listen. They're gonna just like they're literally all the comments are almost always just based off whatever the title was, with no like if the title was a question, the comments were just answering the question, which is very weird. like
there'd be just a screenshot. Like
yeah. You can check it out a little more. It's cool.
Oh
yeah, well, but it did. Before you stopped doing it, we did start getting like it was interesting because we did start getting some some people fighting back for us and like actually, like actually saying stuff. And I did my first Reddit post on the Willie episode that we had Willie and Duranosaur on, and then I threw on Ruggs's interview at the end, and it got like half and half, like people talking shit and then people like coming back and be like, no, dude, like they're just giving their opinions. Like if you like it, cool. If you don't, you don't. Like, and it's just funny to see how it was all hate in the beginning. I mean, it was like it was like if you didn't have thick skin, like you weren't gonna make it over that hump,
Yeah, it's and it's hard. Like I don't have thick skin, I don't think. Like you read someone calling you an idiot and you're just like, am I? Like are we idiots?
Very possible.
Well, I remember when we got we got a bad review, like a 2-star review from Canada of all the places, supposedly the home of the nicest people in the world, but
we got a lot of Canadians in our guild. I think we have valid evidence to discount this theory.
It was a Canadian listener, and he goes, it was titled Today, Junior.
Oh my god!
And like I showed it to Mel and Yip, and I was like, "Well, should we read it on the show and just talk about it and how I used to have a really bad stutter and I'm still working on it?" And Yip was like, "Fuck no, we're not going to give that guy any time at all." And I was like, "You're right. Okay, yeah, okay." But like, I mean, I just have thick skin because I grew up with a stutter, and freaking kids are mean. So. I mean, like I started out life just trying to fight them all and just going at them and beating them up. And then I realized, as I got into like middle school and high school, that just didn't fly. And so I just learned how to just take it. And, so now I have thick skin. I'm like, whatever, make fun of me.
Mad a lot, and so I have to, deal with that.
But
yeah, I want everyone to like me all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, I want that too, but I'm okay if they don't, like everybody, no, there's no person that everybody could like, unless you're Jasmine the Druid.
It's really only if there's like a little tidbit of truth, or like if there was something you were insecure about, like, oh, was my point on the podcast that good? And then someone says it wasn't, you're like,
you're like, yeah.
Okay.
Well, I got a YouTube comment with like, once again, Bob interrupts the conversation multiple times throughout the podcast with a stupid and not relevant point. And I was like, hey,
I liked it and I agreed.
So I like wrote back, I was like, well, hey, can you give me some timestamps? Because I know I have a problem with that, but like, I'd like to like see what you're actually pointing out so I can get better. Silence. Like nobody will help. Like if you want to help me.
That's what they're telling me. They don't want to help. They want to bitch.
Bob's a notorious replier. I remember at the beginning, reply. He was replying to everything all the time.
He still does. I feel like.
Yeah, he does a lot. It's funny. It's funny because I was looking back at some of these Reddit threads and I was like, oh, someone's defending it. Oh, it's Bob. It's like,
but I just ask, like, hey, like, what do you think we could do? What do you think we could do better here? Or, just like explaining my thought process at the time, or like really just trying to improve is basically a lot of those replies. Like you'll get very few
Yeah, it wasn't like fighting. It's just like
I will roast people sometimes because like we had a YouTube comment not too long ago where he's like, well, Bob just likes to repeat other content creators' thoughts. And I was like, this episode, I actually have thoughts that date back, and I have video evidence that I was the first one that said this. So I think you just don't listen. And so, like,
he's not a listener.
Yeah, I was just like, okay, well, at that point, like, I'm right there.
Episodes 1 to 25, whatever, say whatever to improve. Once you're at episode 80 to 90, if you don't like the people on it, you kind of like, I don't
Why
think
are you still listening?
Yeah. Like early on, it's feedback, great. Episode 90, if you're like, I don't like the personality of this person, it's like, whoa. Unfortunately,
well, I mean,
I think we're pretty much past the point of.
We've got Oshley in chat, you know, and she's hated me from the beginning. And she's my top Twitch viewer. She just loves to come and just like fuck with me. You know what I mean?
To troll you.
So those are, you know, good for your success too.
Anybody.
I know she doesn't. I have asked her to come on the show many times, and she's turned me down every time. I've asked Stoof and Jazz too. They've turned me down multiple times. I would love to still have them on the show anytime, but they don't. They just won't do it.
Steve says she's too shy. Ashley says, "Fuck no, fuck off."
Yeah.
That's the. But yeah, so yeah, that was, you know, one of the things that we, you know, learned along the way, like. But we did, you know, that's the Reddit stuff was why we actually started doing it live and did it on YouTube also, is because there was people that were like, this should be on YouTube. Like, I don't want to like listen to some audio, blah, blah, blah. So we're like, all right, we'll do it live and we'll do it on YouTube. And for the longest time, I was like, this is a waste of my freaking time. We're getting like 150 views. Like, and I'm just like, why am I like, because it's a lot of extra work to do it live. Like, I think the show was actually honestly better before we did it live. But like, because live
we had more control over it. It felt more comfortable to be like, let's reverse this segment. Let's do this part a bit over again or something like that. Live, it's a little more challenging. We have like pauses where you might be like, all right, hold on. Okay, let's start again. But it's less like,
you got chat. You got like, there's a whole bunch of things that go into doing it live that make it just a lot harder. And then you're like advertising or going live, it changes, you know, but like it, you know, bummed me out for the longest time, like just because like you get, like we had already gotten success audio and then just not getting success on YouTube over and over again was just rough. But YouTube's not built for like 3-hour podcasts, you know? So like the success we've gotten, I actually feel pretty good about, since we don't have any guides or anything else on the channel. So
yeah, it's just crazy to me. Like it was very different once it started being live. Like it was like it's like an entirely different experience from just like you're recording, 3 people are hanging out recording something versus like you're now on for this entire time.
Like this was the biggest issue, right? Like
I have to
shower.
I'm coming home from work at the end of Friday. I come home at the end of a Friday day and I'm just like, oh God. I look in the mirror and I have to slap myself.
I gotta be on video.
Yeah, I'm about to be on video. Recorded video.
Yep.
Right? It's on the internet. It's there forever.
It's cool though. Like you get a lot better at just like random stuff. And I felt this way about like every iteration of any like content creation that I've made. Cause like it's funny. Sometimes I'll go back. Like I have an old YouTube channel from when I was like much younger, and I've got like 130 videos. I've got hidden videos on channels, and I'll go listen to them, and it's like my voice. Like I'm nervous. I'm alone in my room, and I'm nervous talking, and it's so funny. Like I don't think you get better at it without just doing it, though.
Yep.
So like this sort of thing makes you so much better at those sort of things.
Well,
so
I will say,
really
like I present for my career. I presented at a lot of conferences and in front of big crowds of people, right? And I really think podcasts helped me to just get comfortable with the, you know, public speaking. I wasn't ever like super nervous, but I'd get like, you know, when you go up there and talk and there's all these people and you're like not nervous, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, okay. And your voice is kind of shaky.
I feel so bad. Some people, even if it's like just people they know. Like I went to a small high school, and there'd be like somebody who, when they did a presentation, even though we're all friends, their voice just starts. It sounds like they're gonna cry, and it's like they can't stop it.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, it's rough. All it is just
it's
doing it over and over.
Like
But it's definitely made me better at that. Like I'm able to talk in front of, thousands of people and be fine now. It's actually easier because I don't know those people. Like whatever.
Going live is why I always get nervous every time we start a pod, even though I've done hundreds of podcasts now over the last, 5 or 6 years. Like I still get nervous every single time. But it was funny because we had Metagoblin on recently, and he answered a question so it was awesome. He answered a question so truthfully. Like he talked about when he first started making, this is kind of like what you did, Yip. Like when he first started making YouTube videos, he was making it was retail at the time. I forget what expansion it was, but he was making PvP videos, and he was still a mouse clicker. And we go, well, where are those videos? And he's like, I went on a massive deleting spree.
Yeah, it's something I've talked about with streaming raid and stuff, where I am actually very self-conscious about the way I play. I don't
100%.
necessarily want someone to be able to analyze everything I'm doing. I want them to analyze the output of what I'm doing, not literally
not how
everything.
I got to the how I got there.
You don't want to
right?
see how the sausage is made. That's the
I agree.
That's how I feel.
Anybody's they're always like, will anybody stream in Discord? And I'm like, nope, I don't need that extra pressure of somebody watching where I'm looking, what I'm doing.
Well, and then you see some people stream it, and you're like, you shouldn't be streaming that.
Well, and that's the thing, though, I think if I were to get somebody that was like, hey, do you want me to watch your video and give you feedback and help you grow? Sure, maybe I'd let them do that, right? But just streaming it in Guild or on YouTube or something where I know people are just going to be like, oh, why is she doing that? What the hell is going on there? And not say anything to me?
Well, and then, I don't need that. I mean, then on top of it, so I stream and I'm pretty self-conscious about the different things, but my stream is small and helps me out quite a bit. They'll tell me I just recently was doing something and someone's like, dude, you're using the ugliest Titan panel skin ever. I was like, what are you talking about? They told me to go to options, turn it to all black. I was like, that's awesome. Thank you so much. I mean, so they definitely help, but it goes the other way. I stream raids, but I probably most of the time would go AFK just as much as somebody else, but it's there in black and white if I'm streaming, you know what I mean? So the narrative changes.
There is this incredible clip. It's really funny. It might not even be a clip. It might just be a picture. It's we killed Archimond, and I said in raid, I was like, okay, guys, let's get your necks on immediately. We're getting over there. We're pulling right away. And then it's just a picture of Bob's empty chair in his stream. It's so funny to me. It's you can't get away with it when you're streaming.
I know.
Someone's watching.
Oh, and then the one time you're like, all right, let's get to BT as quick as possible. And I'm like, I bet I can go kill myself and trade in my helm really quick. Because it was when I first got the helm with the wings. And I was
with the wings.
And I was like, I bet I could do it. And then I fucked up everything. And then you guys were there. And I was like, I'm coming. And you're like, what do you do? And I'm like, I got my helmet. And you're like, are you kidding me right now? It was just but yeah, it was just you can't hide those types of things. And then there's always recency bias too, but yeah, if you stream, you put yourself out there and, that's what you do, So, but I don't know, with content getting to the way it is and going into Wrath, I don't think I'm going to have to pee as much. So I am gonna be sober and having a good time being sober. Like I'm not gonna have to drink to make the content fun anymore.
The content makes them pee is what I think I heard.
Yeah, that's what I'm understanding as well too. And that's definitely true. Like Sunwell has been hard and daunting, but it's definitely a taste of more what the bosses are like in Wrath. Like all the bosses are actually very fun to do. Like they're all very interesting bosses. Like every single boss is interesting with a lot of interesting mechanics. It's like tough. I think they'll still feel good. Like a month down the line, I still think like killing Brutalis will be like nice. Like got it. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, well, so let's we've had like a good talk. Real quick, let's do a real quick just likes and dislikes for TBC, and then we'll just do a quick looking towards Wrath excitement. What are you excited about?
All right. Well, likes, dislikes of TBC for me. The raids are really good. I love Arena. Arena, honestly, Arena was like the big thing because we did almost no PvP other than for PvE purposes. Like when AV came out, a lot of us did AV together, but it was like we have to unlock like the rings and stuff that come out, the epic ring at Exalted. No one was like, oh, let's raise our rank and do this.
And it was really PvE.
We're doing all Track Valley.
The last boss.
Yeah, like it's actually sad the little amount in vanilla of BGs that I did, considering I was thinking I was going to be doing a ton. But in TBC, there's a reason to do them. You get your honor points. You go into Arena and test out your gear. So the Arena and the raiding has been really, really fun. My disappointment was my weird delusion that we're all going to be running like heroics and running and doing like dailies every day. And I'm sure there are people who do this. But at least in our guild, and then myself personally, like I still haven't. I'm gonna be honest. I've maybe outside of attunement quest. I don't even want to say this. Outside of attunement quests, I don't believe I've done a single quest in Shadow Moon Valley. I don't think I've done a single quest on any character in Shadow Moon Valley.
I've done so much money.
I know, but I don't particularly care for quests overall. I have done them before, and like I just like am whatever about it. Like there's something about TBC that I really like the rating, I really like the PvP, but everything else I was deluded in thinking we were gonna do a bunch of it. I'm afraid that I feel the same way about Wrath. I'll talk about it in a second, but I have those same feelings where I'm like, I'm going to be playing so much in Wrath, and I'm like, I really hope I don't end up the same way I did with TBC. But the raids in TBC, like, I mean, they're just so much better than vanilla. Like, I don't want to say I hate vanilla, but I feel like TBC is just better in every way. For me personally, outside of nostalgia, which I still think vanilla WoW is a really good game that is fun, but I still just think TBC is better in every way that I enjoy.
Yeah.
Mel?
I would say I also really like the raids, but I really dislike Kara.
Yeah. Kara
and how
ruled the first
long it
time.
went on.
It's so long. It was so cool at first. I was like, yeah, we're back in Kara. A month later, I was like, oh my God. Oh, Kara again.
And
are we really going to run this again?
It was so important early on for people to get in, but you needed so many more tanks than you needed for 25 man. And there was only a few pieces of gear from, the two short, 3 boss 25 man content. Wrath's going to be better because you'll have 25 man Nax, 25 man Sarth, 25 man what's it called? The other dragon, it'll be so much better. The 10 mans will be extra content,
extra stuff
for the people that really want to do it. And I think that's going to be a really good thing, different from in phase 1 from TBC. I'd have to say my dislikes were definitely like the phase 1 and just how, especially since going down from 40 man to 25 man and how it made people made guilds fight over being sat and different things. Like it was just a whole clusterfuck. And then like dislikes. I should have just been benched for the first, phase and a half to two phases until SSC got nerfed, and I could have come in and just like had a blast for the rest of the time on my warrior. I like playing the warlock. I know there's warlock people out there. I love you, but it's not for me. Caster's not for me. I did not like it. It's, that was the biggest mistake that I made in TBC, was going lock. And then the likes has been just like PvP. Like PvP has been so much fun, even though I've only gotten up to the 1600s so far. I'm hoping to maybe push like at least 1800 before the end of this, before the end of this all. And I've actually like jumped up higher in these first few weeks than I've ever been in this time frame. So I'm hoping, if people keep playing with me, I'll, be able to make that milestone and having a good time with that. And just, Alaquel Denaz, I've loved those dailies. Like, I've enjoyed the raids.
Dailies in Nile. Have you done the dailies yet?
Just like once or twice. That's the other thing. I remembered, like back in the day, I did them every day on every character, and in my head I was gonna do that the same. But it's just when my priority is raiding, all I care about is getting the best stuff for raiding right now. And it's like, if I don't need to do it, I don't need to do it, and that's sort of where my mind's at. And I don't like that. I wish I was like, let's go do the Isle dailies every day. I'm just not.
Well,
I'm like being realistic about it.
Although I will say, the other day when I was sitting out, I was like, oh, I'll go pick up these dailies and I'll try to do these dailies. And I killed like 4 things. And then I realized, I was like, oh, I can't get these things when I'm in a raid, can I? So I'm just like killing these things. I was like, these things don't drop anything I need. Like, what am I doing?
That's hilarious. Yeah, the bummer about Alaquel Denaz and the memories I have was, you'd go with like 3 people, 4 people, because that was the only way to like fight off the horde that were also doing that. And you like, it was a really fun time. But dailies has still been fun for me, but it's definitely a different type of fun than originally. But yeah, what's the, we are running at time. So we're just going to do, what is the most excited you are? What's the thing you're most excited about for Wrath?
This is going to sound weird, but I think, and I could be wrong because again, I didn't do a ton in Wrath, but I'm pretty sure the raid encounters are actually designed for 2 tanks. Right now, I feel like it's just whatever. 2 tanks, 3 tanks, 1 tank. Like, it's just ridiculous. Like every raid is different. It's just bizarre. Right. But I feel like the raids are more purposeful in Wrath, where it's like, we have designed an encounter. Here's how you should do it. Whereas
they gave you dual spec, so they're like, okay, now we give them a reason not to be dual spec.
Yeah, you at least have dual spec. Yeah, that would have been the best time. But like, things are just so weird. I hate like not having like a standardized role where it's just like you have your main tank and off tank. That's it.
Right.
there's so much more like intrigue. We've had like, have we had 4 tanks on anything? Do you need 4 tanks on not Tidewalker? The guy before Tidewalker, all the Nagas. Like, it's just, you need a lot of weird stuff. You at least need 3 tanks. You need someone who's like with the priest on the side by themselves doing nothing. And it's like, what a silly, like, it's just silly, and I don't like that as much. And then we have Mira, who is like an incredible DPS, who's ending up tanking a ton, which is like, it's lame when you have this 99 parsing DPS who's just spending their time being a tank when the boss fight could just need to.
Right.
Yep. Mel?
Are you asking me what I'm looking forward to?
The thing you're looking forward to most in Wrath.
Well, obviously the barber shop. No, I'm just kidding. I picked the right hair the first time. That was not an issue. I don't know. I didn't raid in Wrath. Did I raid in Wrath?
You have your retail account has the Drake from SAR 3 Drakes up.
Apparently.
Dude, Bob loves SAR 3 Drakes.
And he's still mad at me that I have the Drake, and I think it makes it even
the guild
more mad
did it early on. We were second, and they're like, "All right, we're never doing that again." And like, so no one else got a chance, and she was like, "Oh, I got a Drake. Cool."
Doesn't remember.
So what am I looking forward to most in Wrath is to taking the Drake before Bob. That is my one and only goal in Wrath.
Oh man! All right, well. for me, I'm actually most excited about. I mean, I could say dual spec, and I could say going back to my roots and being rogue. Like I'm good at rogue and wrath. I am good, and you guys will see. Proof will be in the pudding. But I'm excited about learning and proving people wrong that warrior tanks are going to be just fine in wrath. And I'm going to plan to do GDKPs and see where I can go. Like,
this poor man. No, they are listen, yes, they're totally fine.
I think I think everybody is wrong. I think private server scripting was wrong. We did SAR 3 drakes up with a warrior main tank. We did Yogg 4 lights with a warrior main tank. So, but I'm just saying we did it second on both of them, second on the servers. So I don't know. I think private servers have had it wrong.
Here's the only thing that I disagree with is that Paladins have Ardent Defender, which is the most unbelievable tank cooldown that's ever existed. So I'm going to read it so people know what it is. Damage that would take you below 35% health is reduced. So when you press it, you're preventing a lot of damage. And then attacks that would otherwise kill you caused you to be healed. So you die and then you get to be back to you're alive still. And there's just nothing that can beat that in the game,
yeah. No, I don't think they're gonna be as good, but like I think that they're gonna be just fine.
That might be the case where it's like, especially in a scenario where you're not on progression for sure, but even before not progression, I think you'll be fine. But if you have a really strong guild, I think a warrior is going to get so much better than this expansion, at least. That's what I hate most about TBCs. I had to give up my warrior for a druid. All right, I'm done.
And you can't have that glaive.
Bear and have nightmares every night about bears because he plays one.
Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah. So, do you want me to hit on 5A? Any thoughts?
No.
Nope. Okay. Well, then we'll just skip it.
It says it right in there.
Oh, I didn't see that. Okay, this is something we actually found out. Bob makes the notes, so he's like kind of has a memory of it. And Yips added things in the notes. You should have always added those in red so I could have seen them.
No, it's just funny. I just add. I feel like I've never added anything that interesting. I just add little. Those notes are like for myself to remember. Usually, I'll be like, "Oh, this little thing to bring up," and then I'll pretend it's like off the cuff. Like, here's the thought. I'm like, nope.
Yeah, well, so then so like very last thing, plans for the future for the podcast. I think Mel and I are just gonna keep having people on and getting different perspectives and just basically, I mean, it's a night out at the pub with three or four friends, and I think that's what we're gonna do it to. And we hope Yips gonna come back as frequently as possible.
I don't know if you can speak for us.
Listen, all you have to do is massively misrepresent the raid or something one week, and then I'll be on the next week to correct the record. That's the play.
Listen, guys.
Got it.
Yeah, our tanks are awful.
Just ridiculously horrible.
But yeah, I mean, listen, I have no problems, no qualms. I can see myself becoming a Melderon. That is my stance right now. But yeah, I mean, this was incredibly fun, and all those videos were so sweet.
They were
very much.
We do. Harscar wants to come on, but he wants to have all of his energy going towards completing Sunwell first. So we're hoping to have an episode with both Harscar and Yip, just talking about the whole journey through Sunwell. So hopefully that'll be something in the future that you'll see here in a few weeks. Hopefully, but.
Yeah,
we'll get the real story, not the one that Yip tells us.
Quick spoiler alert: we're pulling our hair out over what the heck we do about Muru.
Yeah, so feel free to write into the pod. I will send it on to Harscar and Yip and the other officers. And but you guys have helped us in the past, so thanks.
In 4 weeks when we do that episode, and Harscar and Yip come on, and they're both like, Yeah, so we had a couple wipes on Mover. We were calm and collected and really analyzing the fights, and we felt good about it. We still felt like we had a go, and then we did it.
All right, guys. Well, we are no add-on of the week this week. We've run over time. It's been a blast. We probably could have kept talking for a long time, but we've got to go. So don't forget to follow us on Twitter at WC Reloaded. You can follow the Mash Those Buttons Network at the MASH Network. If you want to send us your WoW stories or anything longer than a tweet, you can do so. Send your emails to wcrpodcast@gmail.com. If you'd like to join the Discord, I don't even know why I still read this. Nobody joins the MASH Discord, so I'm just not going to read it. All right. If you'd like to help the podcast, the best thing you can do is leave us reviews. We are dry at the moment. iTunes reviews help us the best to be seen, but stars on Spotify help us too. We just can't thank you on the pod, which is a bummer. And
and now that I'm not really on the podcast, I can freely say this. Stop emailing in and write a review. Don't send us in-game mail. Please make an iTunes account and leave a review for Bob and Mel. All right. They appreciate your other stuff, but come on.
Come on.
Oh, you can also go to warcraftradio.com/directory. Those help us too. And just the biggest thing is tell your guild, tell friends, tell people about the pod. And yeah, the very last thing is there's going to be a clips channel opening up soon. I've got everything made. I've got previous clips. Going to be launching it hopefully maybe this weekend or the following week. I'll include the link if I get it done this weekend, but it's been a lot more work than I anticipated. So I'm trying, but yeah, that's it. We're going to get out of here. We love you guys. Thank you so much for listening to our 100th episode. I hope it wasn't boring. Hopefully anybody wants to get into content creation or podcasting, because I'd love some more classic podcasts. I hope this helped you, like maybe just start your own. It'd be awesome. And if you start it, send me the link. I'll check it out. So thank you guys.
He's not gonna want to say bye, is he? Yip?
Thank you, Yip, for coming on. Thank you, Mel, always.
I'm just saying, are you going to let us?
Oh, yes. Sorry. Okay. Instead of where can we find you, Mel, give your closing statement and then follow up with where we can find you.
I didn't have a closing statement. I was just laughing because it sounded like you were just about to turn off the episode.
Oh, no. I was just like, this whole thing with all the clips and everything. Like, I'm feeling a little emotional. But yeah, like, whatever you want to say about the pod, and then end with your, with where we can find you.
I just wanted to say thank you to everybody that listens, and thank you to everybody that sent a video. It was very, very sweet, and I really appreciate it. I appreciate all our listeners too, and all the wonderful people that message me instead of Yip or Bob in game. That makes me feel very happy.
Oh,
and I rub it in their faces.
Tana Man, is that his name? He's whispered both of us before. He messaged
But he did me first.
Yes, he messaged me after it was announced I wasn't returning, and he said, "I'm sorry, I messaged Mel first." Please come back.
Oh my God, that's great. Well, I mean, we've had countless interactions with people, either in game, email, reviews, the live chat, my chat, just when I'm regularly streaming. You are definitely missed, sir, and not by just them. Greatly by us.
I guess so.
Okay, bye, Mel.
Bye.
Where can we find you? Yeah, we can't find you anywhere. Yeah, closing statements.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad that I came on for episode 100. All those videos were really sweet. This podcast, obviously, I put a lot of time in. I love you guys. I love the podcast. I know people were speculating that we had some kind of insane falling out. It wasn't anything crazy.
It just sucked the timing. It sucked the timing of that. But yeah, don't worry about it.
And it was not about. It wasn't about looking for dungeon. Okay, it wasn't about looking for dungeon. But other than that, yeah, obviously it's been an amazing time on the podcast. All the guests that came on, all the listeners have always been really, really awesome. Other than that hiccup on Reddit, other than that, we've had nothing but positive experiences with people. So that's been awesome. And if you want to see more of me, you can find me on YouTube, Twitter, not a ton of Twitch, but maybe one day more Twitch at TheYipShow. I am pledging myself to make 3 to 4 videos a week right now, and I will be making a ton of content. I have a lot of shows planned and some bigger ideas as well too that should hopefully be rolling out. So check it out. I will actually be making content. What a shock after all this time.
We might even, you spent so much time on the pod, we might even make a segment at the end because we're running out of fucking add-ons.
What's
so
Yip doing?
It might just be Yips actions for the week.
I'm very good at predicting them apparently, so I should just say what his action for the next week is going to be.
The best segment you can do, forget about Yip, a little roundup of the best other content, like anybody's. If Metagallen puts out a great video, that's a good,
Yeah.
That is a good segment.
Sometimes in discussion, we'll talk about a video, but even just a quicker shout out, kind of this is what it's about. Check it out.
Yeah, good call.
A lot of good content creators out there to check out, guys. Not just me and the podcast. We got a really good community, I think.
All right, well, guys, you can find me on Twitter at twitter.com. Oh my gosh, I just lost it.
At Blazin_Bob.
Yeah, Blazin_Bob, BLAZZIN_BOB. You can find me on Twitch and this show Fridays, sometimes Saturdays. And recently we did a Sunday at twitch.tv/BlazinBob. This has been a banger. I love everybody. Thank you guys so much for everything. And yeah, we're gonna hope to keep it going good through Wrath. And yeah, bye.
Bye.